Cool.
We have a sidekick.
Hello and welcome. Oh, you son of a bitch.
I haven't heard that forever. Yay!
I'm not doing it again. I don't care. We're playing DayTrippers. I don't know, whatever. Take it away, Tom.
One-way ticket, yeah. And it took me so long to find out, but I found out. Let's get sued by Michael Jackson's estate now. It's been a long night. Oh,
Christ.
You get punch drunk.
you are, in fact, you guys have not had a lot of sleep. You've had a very, very eventful, last 48 or maybe even 72 hours. Between being chased by drones and then having to flee your camp, and then making it to your RV, and then meeting the Terminationer and dealing with him, and then moving in the direction where he had gestured, and running into the tunnel people where you get taken down into there. There has not been a whole lot of sleep. And then you did take some sleep last session, but you broke it up in bits because Jack was worried that, people had to stand guard. So no one has really had a full night's sleep in several days. You've walked, 100 kilometers. You're in this underground city where you meet these tunnel people. And, all seems pretty good. They're a little weird, and they're definitely highly communist, anarchist kind of ideology going on. There may have been a revolution here and some people may have died, but the ones who remain are absolutely dedicated to the idea of finishing this tunnel all the way to Union City. And so that's what they've been doing, even though they've been reduced to fairly low tech and even back-breaking labor with like old school pickaxes and shovels. They're digging a tunnel. And they've also built this little city underground, and they're welcoming you in, and they say they'll find you work, and as long as you're working, doesn't matter what you do, as long as they, find it valuable, you can stay as long as you want. And that's not such a bad deal. There are some smaller tunnels going off the bigger tunnel. Trae tried questioning the head dude, but hard to get any answers out of them. But you do have the feeling there are alternate routes, side paths, maybe even leading all the way into Union City. They're just treacherous, locked off, and in at least some places, only about big enough for a child to get through. But of course, anything a child could get through, an army of drones could get through. So it's a concern, and those sections have been walled off. That's about where we left you, if not for the very last scene. We've encountered this small child named Whisper who seems to have taken a liking to Ulla. Right at the end, Whisper leans in close to Ulla, says, "I like you," but then says, "Please take me away from here." That's where we ended last time around.
Now, I'm assuming that no one other than Ulla heard that. Like, she put her lips like next to her ear.
You did not even hear it,
right?
and you're sitting just a couple feet away.
Yep. Which is probably good for now.
Okay, so I think Ulla probably just blinks for a few moments, like absorbing what this kid has just said to her.
Yeah, and then Frenzy from the other side of the room says, "Hey, Whisper, leave them alone. Come on back over here." And the kid runs over to the other side of the room, gets a swat on the butt, and leaves with Frenzy.
And Frenzy was the foreman?
You actually haven't officially been introduced to Frenzy. It was one of those people in the blur of names that went by when you walked into the eating area.
Male, female?
Frenzy's male.
Okay. Yep.
There was so many names, I believe. One was Blinky.
Yeah.
There was a Blinky. There was a Blinky in there. Yeah.
Well, Blinky you actually got a chance to talk to for an extended period. Exo is the leader. He welcomed you in, walked you through all the way back to where the tunnel, where this side of the tunnel starts. And at that point, there was a work shift coming out. Leader of the work shift was Blinky. Exo handed you off to Blinky, and Blinky gave you the 411 and dumped you off at the eatery.
Yep.
And that's where we left you. And that's where you met Whisper and like a score of other people whose names you can't even remember.
Nomenclaturally diverse.
Absolutely diverse, but it doesn't really matter because they've all left and you're the only ones left in this area. The work shift is officially over. So it's like there is a night shift getting ready to go in, but that's all different people, and they're coming from the other side of the compound. Where you are now, it looks like everybody's eaten, and now they're going to bed because they're fucking tired.
Or are they just kind of falling out wherever? Or do they have like separate like sleeping accommodations?
I can bring up the picture again, but basically it's a large underground complex which has been both naturally formed and then extended. They've dragged in all sorts of materials. I mean, there's basically like Quonset huts and ladders and levels and platforms. They've really decked this place. It is an underground town. And there's many places where there's nobody staying in there, just like a cavern that was burrowed out when there were more people here.
Sure.
Somebody used it as a living space, but nobody's in there now. So they just sort of wander off to their own little, they've either got a lean-to or a cave, or they're up on the second level and there's sort of a corrugated hut. All sorts of different, DIY shelters.
Okay.
And Exo told you that, or no, I guess it was Blinky who told you that all you got to just find an empty one. You sleep wherever you want.
Okay. Yeah, so I think Nash just kind of looks over at everybody and says, I mean, this seems relatively safe. I still think we should probably sleep in shifts. I mean, we don't know, anything about these people at all. I think we would be remiss to not set up some sort of a security detail. Like, that just makes sense.
Sure.
I agree. I do not believe that these people, I believe as a collective, they can be trusted. However, on an individual basis, I do not believe so. So I think setting up watches and keeping an eye out for ourselves would be the optimal plan.
All right, I guess we find just an empty nook and kind of crash out. Reg, we slept in stuff worse than this.
Oh, God, yes. I was just going to volunteer for first watch. Just set me up, or just prop me up somewhere, and I'll scan, I'll do a scan.
Mr. Reggie, if you would like, I would like to point out, by the way, it is strange to be calling a baby Mr.
It's so strange.
Should I still be calling you Mr. Reggie?
Okay. You know what, Trae? I've never cared one way or the other. You call me what you want to call me,
Okay.
Mr.
Baby Reggie.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
If you would like, I can set up Omega here to watch alongside you.
Is Omega the one that I'm piloting currently?
No, and he takes his little pack and he pulls out the little bot that he got from whatever his name was.
Termination.
From the Terminatrix.
The Terminatrix. No. Yeah, that one. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Sure. I mean, whatever you feel good about. I just figured it. I'm feeling pretty good, and everyone else gets some shut eye, and I'll just I'll take first watch with your friend Omega.
Well, before everyone goes to sleep, the Whisperer had a bit of a message for me.
Oh yeah?
The child had a message?
Well, a message, a request, a plea. We'll call it a plea. They asked me to take them away from here.
Oh God.
Did she say anything else? I mean, did they?
I mean, they had barely a moment before they were called away by, who was it? It was Frenzy. And it seemed as though Frenzy wasn't happy that they were speaking to us.
I did notice that he slapped her. It seemed kind of out of line.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's what this is. That's what this is about now.
Yeah, that's a maybe, right? That's a maybe. The butt slap might have been don't bother the nice people, or the butt slap might have been stay away from those strangers. It could have been like xenophobic, or it could have been just hey, don't be rude, or something else.
Or hurry up.
Yeah, I don't know. All I'm saying is that Whisper seemed to be making a desperate plea, so I'm not really quite sure what to do with that. I was going to ask Whisper about where there might be tunnels for us to explore, but now I'm beginning to wonder whether it's just some problem that Whisper has in particular, or if there's something else more sinister going on here.
We can't. I mean, we're at a time and space. I mean, it's been hard enough for us to get around. I can't imagine dragging a child into this as well. I mean, I don't. I'm open to suggestions. I don't. I mean, we're not here to blow up this spot for these people. I mean, it seems like this is a pretty rough place to make a life. No offense, Ulla, but I don't know. I mean, if they're abusing her, then that maybe becomes another issue. But I don't know how well we can provide for a child. No offense, Reg.
None taken. You don't need to do none taken. And Reggie just kind of puts his head down. Actually, Todd, I would like to.
Yeah, I would just say right off the bat that Reggie is not a child. Whatever Reggie is in itsity. There is no other Reggie.
He visually presents as a child right now.
Totally visually, I'm a baby child, and I get it. But maybe I want to try something. Just give me a minute. And I want to see if I can't project myself and find Whisper and observe what's going on right now with Whisper. Like a little reconnaissance, like a little lucid reconnaissance. Like a psyche lucid dreaming reconnaissance. Like a whole thing.
You want to astral project yourself?
I want to eavesdrop and spy. Yes, without the astral projection spell.
You could ask the person with cyber clairvoyance to go stare at them.
Yeah, I want to go do a nice little spy. You know, I'm a ghost. I'll be a ghost.
Yeah, I hear you. You got to beat a 9 though.
I'm gonna try my best to beat a 9. Oh, I have to beat a 9. Wait. Oh,
you can do it.
I can.
Yeah,
do
you
it.
can hit 10.
There it is. Yeah. I can. Yeah, you're right.
I believe you, Reg.
9 on the dot. So a no button.
No, it's a yes button.
On the dot is a yes button.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, you succeed, but something.
Oh, it's a yes, right. Okay. One below is gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, that's why I always say you want to beat da-da-da.
I know this game.
Right.
It's fine.
The way that I picture it is like the basketball tip-off. Like if both jumpers jumped exactly as high and they both hit the ball at the exact perfectly right across from each other. If they equaled each other, you're not getting a yes out of that. the best you can do is a yes, but the ball actually just hangs there in midair while you both slap it, right?
Yeah.
Frozen in time.
You get the yes, but so yes, you won the tip off, but you tipped it to your opponent.
Okay.
Something
Well,
like
I like
that.
it.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm visible. How about that? And I'm just a floating baby right next to Whisper. Shh. Whisper, I'm here to observe you.
Okay, so Reggie starts getting that look, this strange squinting eyes thing. I'm not sure. I guess Ulla has seen him do it when you encountered the canister. So baby Reggie is just squinting up his face again and
The
doing that.
fluid turns blue. The fluid color turns blue.
Are you pooping
you know,
in there? Don't poop in there.
It's
If you-
absolutely a poop face.
If you really push yourself hard, and this actually is not as hard as you would need to, but this is just a 9. Like if you try to do something harder than that, you remember you would get nosebleeds. You get nosebleeds sometimes, and the water would like turn red, starting around your nose, probably.
I like. Okay.
But
yeah.
what happens now though is baby Reggie just scrunches up and makes little fists, and you can feel the tension. The little baby body is vibrating in the jar, and
like a petulant child.
and then suddenly the baby opens his eyes. Now, Reggie, here's what you got. Okay, you're hovering, like behind Whisper's head, and like a video game with a POV just over the shoulder of your NPC or of your PC, and they're going into another cavern. They're being sort of like hurried along, and it's not only Frenzy, but there's a couple other adults here who you don't recognize. And in this room, there's quite a few other children. There's like 15, maybe 20, and they're all between the ages of like 5 and 12. And they're all like ready for work. They've got little lantern helmets, and they're being handed pickaxes. Yeah, they're getting the kids ready to do a work shift, and none of the kids are happy about it. And you personally get the feeling some of these kids are not old enough to be wielding pickaxes. But just at the moment you have that thought, Whisper turns around in your view and looks straight at you with this questioning look on their face. And Whisper is a girl. You know that for sure. And you didn't know that a minute ago, but now you know it because you feel them. They see you. And then you pull, and then it stops. You pull back.
Can I say something, or is it no?
Yeah. To them? No.
So, well, to whoever sees me, or like to Whisper, because I'm closest to her. If I can, it's okay. I wanted to say something reassuring.
There is no audio.
Okay, perfect. Oh, then I want her to just see me mouth the words soundlessly then, because that'll just be creepy. That'll be creepier, probably, right? But I don't know that.
What are your words?
My words are, "Don't worry, I'm here to help." That's all I wanted to say to her.
And the last thing is Whisper with this just like wide-eyed, shocked look on her face.
Bye. Hey, so we probably could have guessed this, but there's just a shitload of children with pickaxes and all kinds of crap. Like, we're getting ready to go to bed. They're getting ready to send these kids out into the goddamn mines. So that's no good.
I mean, it's not great, but I mean,
so now it's just like, it's not just Whisper. Now we are just, we're freeing all the children. I'm getting images of what is it? The Temple of Doom, I think, is what I'm getting images of. We need to free all the children now.
I mean,
after you get some sleep, of course.
Yeah, no. I mean, I feel what you're saying, but is this world? You know what I mean? Like,
right. I mean, even if it is, right,
Mr. Nash, at one point in our Earth's history, it was also part of that world's culture to put children into labor. And I know from my own past that me and my classmates were also put into, albeit not manual labor as these children, if baby Reggie is to be believed, but labor nonetheless. And I also get the sense that something similar from Ulla's past may hint at the fact that it is fairly common in this world as well.
Well,
I mean, I'm
you
not
are
saying that it's
absolutely
great.
right, but let me interject. We never really made it clear that this happened to Ulla as a child. I kind of got the idea she was already at least a teenager when all these experiments began.
Yeah, she was older. She wasn't.
So it doesn't feel like forced labor in the.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be Trae's interpretation of it, though, right? Like
Yeah.
from what he's reading.
However, when it comes to you and
projecting.
your class, when it comes to you and your classmates, it's absolutely true because you guys were used on missions before you were old enough to really understand what you were involved in.
We're gonna start calling Trae Ender.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Todd. Hypothetical, if I were to show up in the city with a bunch of children with no parents, what would happen to them?
Very hard to say, but they would have to go through in processing. They would be handed over to the corporate board of the city and the I don't remember exactly which arm of the bureaucracy would take care of them, but they'd have to be processed in as citizens, which means they'd all have to get a PID chip injected, and then they'd have to have records made. It does happen quite often. In fact, there are stragglers coming in from the war-torn zones that, stand in line, for days to immigrate into Union City. And so there are processes for this. They have to go through some medical procedures. They have to get the chip implanted, and records will be created for them. After that, it's a little more up in the air. They might be up for bid. Corporations might wish to involve them in class training. Or they might have to go to foster homes, which means they're going to spend some time in something like a JV hall, because there's simply no other place to put them until we figure out where to put them. It's not like there's lists of people waiting for dirty children from outside.
Yeah, I mean,
Damn it.
I wasn't sure how humane their handling of children from outside the city was. So I was just like contemplating whether or not she would be like, yeah, they'd be better off there, or she's thinking, no.
Yeah, I think that your feeling is in the long run, they might be better off there. But in the short run, it's going to separate them from each other and from the adults that they know and place them in the care of people who are not really caregivers, but more like bureaucrats.
Yeah. Okay. That answers that question. She kind of wrinkles her nose and she's like, would they be all right if we took them to the city? Probably, eventually. I don't know what would happen to them. Many of them might be eventually taken on by different corporations and brought into the system, and they might find work and some education. I don't know, but I just don't know that. I don't know if it's better or worse. I really can't tell you. Probably healthier, probably fewer diseases, probably better food. But
even though that not all of those children, of course, will end up with houses. Most of them statistically speaking, most of them will end up in the squatter town or one of the sprawls, maybe living on the street.
I mean, if this is their
They'll get their $1,000 a month though.
Yeah.
Right? They'll get their UBI, so it's like they won't starve to death. That's the one thing you know. If you get in processed as a city citizen, you're getting your $1,000 a month, so you won't die. Well, at least you won't die of starvation.
I mean, I don't know that this is as unfortunate as this may be, and I'm not saying that I like it. I don't think that this is where our focus is. It sucks. It sucks for them, but this is the only family that they know. I mean, we don't know anything about this. I mean, Ulla, have you seen? Like, is this common practice? Are there children at work in the cities like this? I mean, this is obviously a step removed, right? I mean, these are people that have been forgotten about by
What
city
was accustomed to in the city is a lot like what Trae and even Nash are accustomed to. If children are put to work, it's not manual labor. It's more like corporate sponsored, anything from entertainment to content production to, well, in the case of Clutch, it's called training exercises, but in fact, these Trae and his classmates, before even 10 or 12 years old, were actually placed in deadly situations. So that's not normal. That's because the Clutch the corporation that they work for is an intelligence operation.
Yeah.
In general, they'd be fine. They'd probably get some education. They would certainly have a roof over their head. They'd be fed. They'd have their UBI. And they could possibly become productive citizens, or they might just end up in the squatter town. I don't know. Their fates will be, I don't know, unknown to me. It's a challenge to start from nothing.
Reggie something. Because you said the first part, but I'm wondering if you're going to say the second part of the vision that you had.
Which part? Well, okay, so which part? I thought I said the whole thing. There was a bunch of children. What was the second part?
She saw you.
You give me a brains roll.
Oh, the whole. This is the whole man in the car's name all over again. All right, brains roll. Well, there's a 6 there. Do you want me to add anything to it? Or is it just straight brains?
Okay, yeah, and this is not the man in the car thing, because if you want to tell Nash that she saw you, you go ahead and tell Nash that she saw you.
Of course.
Okay, but here's what the brains roll's for. No one ever sees you when you do that. That doesn't happen. That's not fucking normal. The only person who's ever actually known you were watching, are you ready for this? Was Frank.
No. Oh, yes, I mean, who?
The Frank.
Oh, the Frank. Oh, you.
Frank is the only other person who ever noticed you watching them.
Okay. Oh, so okay, wait, let me, hold on, yes. Okay. I have to make a note of that because I'm going to forget about that. Okay. All right. So there's this other little thing. Now, I know I get excited about these situations, but I just want to point just another thing out that kind of occurred at the end of my whole little journey there was that, so Whisper kind of she sort of noticed me. She saw me.
Is that possible? I mean, obviously, if you say that she saw you, then she saw you. But like,
it's possible. I mean, I've only seen it once. There's only been sort of one other experience. Hold on, sorry. There's only been really you can't see it, but I have a cell phone in my little jar here. So there's only one other time I've noticed something like that, or I have been noticed, and no biggie, but it was Frank. Do you remember Frank by any chance?
Fuck, you don't think that that she's frank, do you?
Well,
You don't think
I've
this
never
is...
experienced something like that other than him. It's probably not a big deal, though.
But
All right,
he's
I
always been him, though, right?
I don't really know who Frank is, but I do know that this child is asking for help, so I would like to at least find out if there's something specific, other than just they generally have a terrible life, or a sort of terrible life, certainly a hard life. But I want to know if there's something specific about this girl who needs help. Like, what is going on with her?
Well,
Agreed.
there
If there
could
is,
be.
if there is something out of the ordinary happening with Whisper, outside of child labor, then if you feel some moral obligation to relieve this child of her suffering, then that is one thing. However, if it is just a overall gloom of the situation, then I believe that might be something that we would have to consider. Of course, I will
But
assist
out in the hallway, by the way,
anything
the
that you
children,
want. But
for the last minute while you guys are talking, you are hearing the workforce of children being gathered out into the hall and marched down. And the overseer's voices are adult. You know what? These are harsh foremen on a work gang. That's the tone of voice. Not caring teachers at a nursery school.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
They're treating these kids like you treat any other worker who, look, if you want bed and board, you gotta work. So don't fucking dawdle and don't backtalk. Get back in line. Now, mostly the kids are doing it, and it doesn't take a whole lot. I'm not saying that you're hearing a lot of this, but that's the tone of voice that you hear from the adults. These kids are workers. They're not being treated like children. They're being treated like labor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, kind of hard to look. I get excited. I know I get on a roll with this sort of thing, and I understand that our largest sort of concern lies elsewhere. But it's just I'd like to put at the very least a pin in this. I don't really know what kind of an impact we would have, other than, what do you even do besides blow the whole thing wide
I mean,
open?
look, if our goal is to make it to the city, if we can, I mean, I don't even know if we have to get somebody on our side, but I mean, we could just tell them that they're here, right? I mean, maybe the city could just send someone out to either collect the kids or finish the tunnel or pull these people out of the ground. I mean, we're not in our own world, right? Like,
well,
again, it sucks. If we were home, we would absolutely have to do something. But like you saw outside.
All very well and good, but this is my fucking home, and I'm not interested in seeing children used as virtual slave labor.
Right.
Apologies, Mr. Nash. But I do believe it shows a level of ignorance to believe that the city is not aware that these people exist.
I'm not saying
that would fall in line with what the terminationer said.
Well, they shut it down, right? They shut the whole tunneling thing down from that side.
Yes.
From the city side. So, yeah, they know, and I think the anger is well placed on the undergrounders. Is that what we landed on them?
Yes.
Tunnelers? I don't know.
Undergrounders.
Tube Town?
I think at this point, too,
Tube Town. Yeah.
Tube Town.
The terminationer called them the tunnel people.
I believe
they call it Tube Town.
In Tube Town.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the tube.
I think, at this point too, Trae will kind of be standing in like the doorway of the unit that they're in, just kind of like mostly an eye on the rest of the group, but also like occasionally side eye. Or actually, you know what? He'll have his drone like on his shoulder, like looking at the like tracking the kids. So he'll have a little HUD. He'll have his HUD open with a little window of the drone's view, looking at what's going on down there.
Okay. And just so we're clear on this, because I have a feeling it's going to come up, the hub is the backpack that you're wearing, and it has a 1 kilometer range. So in theory, you could send your drone out up to 1 kilometer away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right now he's keeping everything contained. He doesn't want that to get away and then like somebody sees it and tries to grab it. So like that, everything is like close to him right now.
All right. Well, you are fortunate
on your back.
in that the time of night that it is, most of the adults are sleeping, and then the kids' workforce is going in, and there's really not a lot of traffic out in the main area. So if you hang behind a little bit, 10, 20 meters at least, you can sort of follow this line of kids.
He'll probably he'll send it out. He'll send the drone out if the group gets out of sight. At that point, he'll begin to have the drone tail them.
Oh yeah, well that's going to happen. That's going to happen. They're at full march. They've been assembled for work and they're reporting for duty. So they're basically moving at regular march speed.
Okay.
Oh my God, we haven't slept at all. We have this absolute shit show of a place we're in.
And it takes a little while for them to get down to the end of the tunnel where the newest work is being done. But once down there, they start breaking them up into small groups, each with an older kid as an overseer. And the smallest kids are sent climbing through the rubble. The bigger kids are pulling bits of rock and sweeping and scraping and shoveling up dirt and dumping them into bins to be dragged to the surface and dumped, because they're the cleanup crew from all the new drilling that was done by the adults a few hours ago. So they're coming in to remove the debris and pull the big rocks out of the way. So the next adult work crew comes back with a clean wall ready to work on. But meanwhile, there are cracks. Some rock is soft, some is hard, it's kind of random. Every once in a while, they come across a fissure or a gap or a crack between two rocks. And those are like going to be opened out and used, as leverage to open the tunnel out. But only children can fit in there. And so the smallest children are sent crawling up into the cracks and fissures with flashlights to see if there's a way through.
And what are that? So how many adults are there right now?
4.
And what are they doing?
They're mostly just standing around, because the kids are broken up into 3 teams, 5 kids each. The oldest kid in each team is the leader of that team. And they're basically sending the smaller ones forward to pull rocks out of the way and clamber into holes.
And are they interacting with the kids at all, or are they just pretty much just leaving the kids to do whatever they?
The adults are standing around interacting with each other, and the 3 work groups do interact with their own group, but they've got a job to do. So they're shouting. A little kid will shout something back from in the hole. It's about 3 meters. It's about 3 meters deep here, and then it goes down. And they'll shout things back. Okay, well, look down with your flashlight, or they'll be yelling, "Don't put those rocks over there. That's a good one. That's a big one. We'll use that for walls. Put them over there." It's just work-related talk, but there is a lot of it. They've got a complicated job to do.
Okay.
There's enough talk for you to have gathered the purpose and function of this children shift, adult shift thing. What's going on is that the adults come in, they make some progress on the hole. That creates a whole lot of debris. Also opens up some possible fissures that may be useful in fingering the hole. So they send the children in while the adults go to sleep. The children are the cleanup crew. And then the whole cycle begins again.
Sounds good.
Now, I'm assuming you're watching all this through the drone's
Yep.
eyes while it's happening? Okay. Are you
Getting
saying anything, or you're just
an
observing?
augmented visual display?
No, I mean, unless anybody asks, Trae won't. He'll just observe.
Trae? I was just trying to think if you have a way of holographically projecting it, and I guess really all you'd have to do is route it to your wristwatch or your PDA.
I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
Trae
he even
wouldn't-
does.
like
Yeah,
he's-
he does have. I think, but he's even used it before, a built-in holo projector.
Can I ask? I think it's okay. The conversation's gone on so long. Have we left the eatery and found our own little place to?
I
Yeah,
assume
I think
so.
we did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
so.
did that beforehand.
Okay. All right. So there's no other strangers. That's what I wanted to verify, whether I
Yeah.
need to make an encounter roll or not. So, are you saying all this then, Trae? Are you letting the others know what you saw?
No.
I feel like
Keeping
he
an eye.
wouldn't- Yeah.
Yeah, right. That makes the most sense. There's no reason to.
Right, exactly. There's nothing
Tactical
that would
benefit.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing at this point that would change anything.
Yeah.
Like, we know that it's manual labor. We know that it's children working. Nothing egregious necessarily has happened yet. So there's really nothing nothing for him to say that would change anything. So
Yeah, it's just a normal day at the mines in a world where child labor isn't illegal.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
I still think our best bet is just to try to catch some shut eye, sleep in
Excellent.
shifts, try to rest up, figure out what our next what's our next move here. Like this is a great place to like hide out, but they're not going to let us just hang out here until we feel better.
Now,
Well, let me throw something else at you that you may want to worry about. Because on the way here yesterday, or just earlier today, I guess, I don't know if we're across midnight yet, but there was that vortex that had the canister in it, and the canister had a message for Ulla.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of get the feeling that if you stay in any place too long, it's like somehow Wolfram knows where you are.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like tomorrow we've probably got to move, right? I mean, but what's the end goal? I mean, Ulla, this is your, as you so eloquently pointed out, this is your fucking home. What can we do to help you? Like this is an immediate concern, because you're at risk, and honestly, it puts us at risk. And we need to get answers. I mean,
Well,
this is your
said
home.
we were going to try and find a tunnel that was a side tunnel to the city, right?
How long did he say that they still had some ways to go, right? I mean,
They've got like 10 kilometers to go.
I feel like we get
He
back
said
to
it would
the
take
surface.
2 years if they kept up the pace.
I mean, I feel like we got to bounce back to the surface and just keep moving.
Well, I do believe he also did mention that there were pathways into the city, and the reason they did not want people going through them was to alert the city services to the potential of them being able to enter the city.
Yeah, not all of that.
The passages may be small, but
not all of that was said in so many words. I mean, the
right.
last words Blinky said was, "I don't think you want to be checking out them tunnels," basically. But you put two and two together because you're a smart guy, and you know that the reason that they've sealed them off is not just obviously. Now you know even more. They're not worried about a child accidentally falling into one or something. That certainly is not the. No, they're sealed off to prevent the city from coming here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we find a sealed one and we break into it and try to use the city.
Well,
if we may be able to at least injure two birds with one stone, if it would put your mind at ease more, Ulla, Whisper might be a valuable asset in order to assist us in navigating the tunnels. It appears as though they are familiar with them.
That would be my
as a matter of fact, crawling through small tunnels is Whisper's job.
Exactly.
Well, that was why I had been speaking with them originally.
I was going to suggest maybe we do that tonight, but if she's on a work detail, that seems less likely than.
We need to sleep at some point.
Fair.
I call first watch.
And we're back to first. All right, I'm going to bed.
if you do want to alleviate her from her working condition and at the same time get some rest, then we could tomorrow night during their shift kidnap her and make our escape. There are only it appears to be a handful of adults that are supervising the children. I believe that the four of them could easily subdued or eliminated, and then we could make our escape.
Or we just wait until she's back and then we just kind of, hide her.
I suppose that is also an option.
Yeah, yes. Let's not actually kill anyone this time. I said this time.
Okay, let me give you this, Trae. If you were to consider going in and taking these four adults out, tactically speaking, you'd have to do it so quick they didn't make a noise because you're at the end of a tunnel at that point, from which the only way out is toward whoever might have been alerted.
Yeah. Well, I was assuming that we'd just go deeper into the tunnel at that point.
Well, the big part of the tunnel only goes so far. So
True.
You'd have to, if you wanted to try such an approach, I'm suggesting that you would already have to know where your egress was. And so far you don't.
Yeah, we have to find one of the side tunnels that's sealed, not where they're currently working. They're working on the main face of the tunnel.
Yeah, this place is actually a cavern complex, and parts of it have been like opened out, hollowed out, turned into living spaces, and then the main thrust of it, they're making use of like natural cracks in the earth to enable this tunnel to go forward. But they're not using they're not using the best equipment anymore. They're using 18th century technology. Right. So a lot of it is just guesswork.
Tod, how autonomous is Omega, the little bot? Like if I set it down and just gave it a basic order of explore, could it do that?
Is Omega the name you gave to the Wolfram drone that you gathered at the city? I mean, not the city, but...
No, that's I believe that one's Totes. Omega is the small bot that I got from the Terminator. or Terminationer.
They used to be called Fred.
Yeah, I didn't like that name.
Okay, that's what threw me.
Got to find you a third one.
He called his main one Alpha, and so I fixed this one up and called it Omega.
We got to get you a third one so you can call it Magoats. Please,
yeah,
please.
Yeah, it has a variety of basically programming macros for different sorts of tactical or recon or sit in space and wait for a command. There's all sorts of commands that you can chain together in a logical chain. So, and you're a programming guy who works with machines a lot. So I would say B to 3, and you can set up any kind of logical chain you want this thing to. Now, it's not true AI, of course. It's not intelligent.
Oh no,
It has like 15 basic pseudo military tactics that you might want a small hunting drone to perform, and you can chain
it's like a bipedal Roomba.
little more than a Roomba, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, I think on my watch, I'm gonna spend a little bit of time programming it to recon and also to map its path.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that will be a programming role versus 3.
That is going to be a 5. So
yeah, that's a yes. And while you're in there, you discover something else. What is it?
All right, wait. So this guy, Terminationer, didn't his dad worked for Global Nation Productions, right?
True.
All right. And that's like a multimedia company, right?
Yeah, it's like if you took Amazon and Walmart and smushed them together.
All right. So what if
and then gave them control of the global distribution chain.
Right.
So
all right.
2022.
So how about what if this robot is actually Terminationer like stole it from their like warehouse? It was like a little worker bot kind of thing, right? And he just like gathered a bunch of them up and then left. So it actually has like the base code of it, like it has information of Global Nation. So not like not anything that I could pull from it. Obviously, it's not like connected to their information servers or anything, but it just gives me a little bit of knowledge in terms of their base coding structure.
I really want to give that to you, but I'm hung on the name because the name is Killbots, and I don't see Killbots as truly being a Global Nation product.
Well, what if they were originally robots used as exterminators in warehouses to kill all the rats?
That's exactly what they do. And that's in fact what they were trying to do. There must have been some little lizard or something crawling on the wall of Ulla's RV. That's why the first shot was fired.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. They are killbots, which means they're exterminator bots, actually.
Yeah.
And all of their programmed commands are geared toward sitting still, watching for motion, firing your laser at small moving objects, not large human-sized objects.
Right.
Not yet.
Little tweak of the program.
Yeah. after we practice,
just scale the targeting. Scale the targeting size up.
There you go. Here's the and for you. I think I just said the most important part. The and not large human-sized objects. Yeah, it turns out that's a simple function with a Boolean value. So you can flip that on and off.
Right. Yep.
It's not part of the customer accessible code. You got beneath the surface code and you found that.
Right. I can just rescale the targeting size.
Yeah. It turns out that they actually wrote that code in there and then scaled it back, commented it out. Nice. So you've got an eye on the kids. They're working. It's time to take a sleep shift. Yeah. Who's sleeping? Who's staying awake?
I'll take second, I guess, or third if Trae took second, or whatever that.
I'll take
shakes out.
whichever one you want.
I feel like you took second since you did all your stuff already.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got Trae. Now I remember Reggie calling first watch also. So are you both staying awake?
I feel like Reggie took first, Trae took second.
Trae-
I'll take
Yeah.
third. Will's
Okay.
fourth.
Okay.
I'm
so,
not sure. I think I not to project onto Trae myself at all, but I have a feeling that Trae will stay up now that he has this thought in his mind until
Well,
he accomplishes his
That's kind
goal.
of why I'm asking, because just before
So-
this, you'd spent quite a bit of energy making sure that you had an eye on the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah,
the
now
two
he
eye-
has the idea of the robot in the tunnels and everything and mapping. So he's gonna spend a few hours getting all that done. And he'll probably also be up during Reggie's watch, but not actually paying attention.
Uh-huh.
So and then I'll actually do my watch, which is watching.
This is going to be a great first watch.
Well, okay, so it's about 3 hours later, which you imagine is getting close to the end of Reggie's watch.
Can I do something during my watch?
And you've had 3 hours to do whatever you want to be doing.
Okay, because I want to try something. I want to try to speak to Whisper, because now my head's going about the Frank thing. So now I want to speak to Whisper.
You're beating a 9 again.
Oh God. Okay. I have a 5, so it's a 9 on the dot again. That's a yes button. I'm not getting my 6s on these rolls. I'm not feeling great.
Those My Little Pony dice? You got to hit the
Yeah,
Little Pony
My
dice.
Little Pony dice. I know. I got them.
What is it that you wanted to say?
Well, I guess it kind of depends. How much time are you going to give me? Can I know that?
He did get a yes.
Yeah, but the thing is, it could be yes, but I'm going to get cut off mid-sentence, which is also great. I'm really excited about that.
Well,
I just
okay,
wanna know,
let's.
it's like a message thing. I want to get like a
Yeah, I'm just gonna go meta here. If you look at it as an action frame, it's common for me to assume that it'd be about 6 seconds.
Okay.
If you look at it in terms of your past history using lucid dreaming, like when you and Frank were maintaining that illusory bubble or whatnot,
Yes.
you could keep something going for like 6 to 60 seconds, and then you'd have to roll again to maintain it. And that's why you can't make
I'm looking to try to
permanent
get a
changes.
response from her. Like I'm trying
So-
to explore this whole thing.
So what I'm trying to range out for you is that what you know going into this. I'm not going to tell you how long you have, but you know it's between 6 and 60 seconds.
Okay. All right. Well, okay, then if I feel like I've done it, I want to try to just reach out and and just whisper, can you hear me? That's how I would open. That's my opening gambit.
Who is that?
Perfect. You can hear me. Hey, listen. Damn it. Listen, I feel like you and I are alike, and I need you to confirm for me that you saw me earlier in all of my glory.
You hear a scream. It's not Whisper. Whisper is hearing the scream, and you're hearing it through your connection, but it's broken off mid-scream. It was a child screaming.
Whisper, was that on your end?
The connection is gone.
Come on.
This is during Reggie's watch?
End of Reggie's watch. It's been 3 hours. No, let me roll this. He said he was doing it during, but he didn't say exactly when. I just rolled a 6. Yeah, it's exactly 3 hours.
I would have done it. I would have done it the second that I could, and if I experienced any success, I would have kept trying to do it. That's what I'm. You know what I mean? This is a terrible watch because I'm not watching. I'm just trying to communicate with Whisper because now I need to explore this whole thing because this is something that she needs to know about.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
It could be like something that you've been trying for 3 hours, and then at the end of your watch is when it finally connected.
Well, right. Even up here on the meta level, I'm backing myself up. We talked about it. Maybe it took us 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but it's certainly less than 3 hours. So you would certainly have thought of it within that amount of time. So yeah, it's whenever you want it to be, basically. Are you going to try again right now?
I would keep trying as long as I felt like I was experiencing success to the detriment of myself.
Yeah, you want to beat a 10.
Okay. Oh God, it's worse. My highest is a 3, so it's a 7. Shit.
Oh wow.
Oh, I'm no Frank, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay, so
Whisper.
You're straining. You're getting a little bit of nosebleed. There's a little bit of red forming in the water. Trae, you might notice if you're looking over at Reggie.
Nope.
But you cannot get a connection. And just then, Frenzy, who you had met earlier in the eatery, comes running in, shouting, "Everybody up! Everybody up! We got an emergency, and you're going on work now! I'm in it!" There are people rousing other people. They're getting everybody up.
Everybody wake up. Someone's in here. Here.
This guy's just come charging in, and he's literally, who's closest to the door?
I'm a good watchman.
Nash, you're literally awakened by this guy slapping you.
He gets punched.
Yeah,
if he fucking comes in and slaps me while I'm sleeping,
you were closest to the door. So yeah. He literally comes in, starts shouting, and slaps you right off the bat.
Oh yeah, he gets punched.
He's not ready for it. All you got to beat is a 2.
I got an 8. Unless you give me some kind of negative for being like half asleep, but like if I'm just kind of laying there, like he just like fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what? You got the warrior reflexes for years, and half asleep, even with a -4, you still deck this guy. Whatever you want happens.
I think he gets knocked the fuck out.
Okay, he gets knocked the fuck out. I'm going to give you an and.
No, like no one else, like no one notices, right? So
no
like,
one at all. There's so much hubbub going on. They're running past the door. Nobody even looked in here. Yeah.
He gets up and, just kind of like, I assume everybody's up at that point because Trae was already up. I mean, if Ulla isn't up, I'll shake Ulla awake gently. Ulla. I don't want to get punched.
Okay, by the time everybody's upright and looking at each other, you realize that you're the only ones left out here in this part of the city. Like everyone else, basically every adult here, has been roused and run down the tunnel to whatever the hell's going on down there.
So Todd, real quick. So Trae probably in his coding frenzy, right? He has I'm assuming the drone has audio, but he has that muted because it was annoying hearing all the kids talking and the tinking of the pitchfork. So he had that muted. He had like 5 seconds of that. It was done.
Love it.
And he also has his headphones playing his whatever. I can't remember what kind of weird ass music we came up with that he listens to. It's like RKO disco punk metal or something like that. But yeah, when all this happens, he can see like Nash punches the dude and everything and hears everything going on. So he'll flick the visual of the camera of the drone back up. And is there anything special going on down in the tunnel or?
Yeah. One of the kids, and it's not Whisper, and it's not even Whisper's work group. But one of the small kids, it turns you have to listen to a lot of snippets of conversation before you put together, because mostly it's just shout.
Whoops.
Just a lot of shouting.
That was the emergency.
Shouting.
So much shouting.
Sorry. I was really trying to do something good. So I don't know if any of this is that, but
this is what we get for doing good things.
Well, I don't know. I was trying to do a Frank thing, and then obviously, I maybe I got I don't know, but I never roll threes, right? Or four. Three. It was a 3. It was a 7 total. I never roll threes.
Especially when you're rolling 5 dice.
It's 4.
Oh, 4. Oh, so, yeah.
So
For now.
To be fair, when I rolled my brains roll, I rolled 2 1s, a 2, and a 3. So,
okay. All right.
But I was only trying to hit a 3. So,
yeah. I was gonna.
Yeah, this is gonna end well. I have a feeling this is gonna go fine.
I'm sure it was just some child in a crevasse who just, has plunged to their death. It's all fine.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say stub their toe, but yeah, that could.
Which is probably equally as lethal down here. I mean, we don't know.
I mean, come on.
Occurrence.
Y'all know, like 6 and 7-year-olds.
Yeah,
they stub a toe or get a scrape. It's the same thing as if they busted their head open. Like, pretty sure that's what's happening, right?
I was doing so well, hadn't crashed all day. So there's lots of shouting going on. There's people shouting to stand over here, get out of the way. What the fuck happened? Max found water, and that doesn't come with a real happy tone, because the other children are crying because no one pulled Max out.
That's fun.
So the adults are slapping the kids and getting out of, saying, get the hell out of the way. And they're all excited, but no one's trying to save Max.
Well, then what are the adults doing if they're just like slapping the children and moving them? Whatever's happening is happening.
Yeah, right now they're telling the kids to get out of the way. They want to have a look. They're doing as much clearing as they can, but then they start calling to the other kids. Whisper, get up here. We want you to go down here where Max was and tell me how far that water is.
Trae will then
Whisper's
turn,
crying and sniffling and does not want to crawl into the hole where Max just died.
So Trae will turn to the general room. Yeah, Trae's gonna turn to the general room and just say, there was water found down one of the tunnels. It appears as though one of the children has been lost, or at the very least is lost. And then he will turn directly to Ulla and said, they are sending Whisper down now.
Christ. All right. So, does she think her she can send her nanobots down there to find him?
You have never tried that at that distance, but you certainly could.
All right. Well, I mean, are we really far away? Why aren't we up closer? I thought we were going down there with everybody else.
Well, the tunnel extends well beyond the city part of the town, so they all march together in a shift, and it's maybe 2 clicks down to where the current end of the tunnel is.
I don't think we've moved yet because Nash knocked the dude out who came to gather us up.
Well, just leave the body there. Who gives a shit about that guy?
I pulled him in, and for what it's worth, I turn his pockets and that kind of stuff just to see, because we don't know.
Fucking
what is that worth?
Rob him.
Exactly. What is it worth?
Well, no, but like, does this guy have some sort of an ID card? Does this guy have something that's useful? Again, we're not in our world with nothing.
Yeah.
So if this guy has,
what you find is a half-smoked, really stinky-looking handmade cigar.
Just drop that on the floor.
Gross.
Yeah. I assume there would be nothing, but
I mean, if we're too far away to do something, then we should, Ulla's like, let's get the fuck out of here and go see what's going on. Why are we still here?
If you run, you can be there in 10 minutes.
Well, how did they get so far ahead of us if they're already down there?
You guys have been asleep while Reggie's been doing his brain stuff. It's been a while.
Yeah, but I thought they all just left. Like, they all woke everybody up, and then they ran down there, and we've been awake for like a hot second while he punched a guy. How did they already get down there if we all just woke up?
The group that was roused by this guy and others like him are still not down there yet. But there were 4 adults already down there.
And they've decided to send somebody in after the person who's already fallen in the hole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they want to know. They want to know how big the water is and how far down it is. This is important. But they
they don't care about the kid. They care about the water.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, Ulla's like, let's get the fuck out of here and go find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Grab everything. Grab all of our stuff, which isn't very much.
Now, Trae saw all that, though, right? So he relayed that whole thing?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think I know the question you're asking, whether or not you were actually asking it. So, Ulla, can you give me a brains roll, please?
I rolled a 6.
Yeah. The question that's bugging you is not about were there or weren't there adults already down there. The question that's bugging you is how did the adults up here know so quickly? And the clear answer is there has to be radio communication or some kind of computer network between the adults up here and the adults down there. Someone down there radioed up here and said, "We found water." Oh, and a kid fell in.
Damn it.
So there's either radio or a network. That's what the brains roll just told you. And, that's an and. Tell me something else good.
Oh, there was some sort of communication device on the body.
Yeah, okay. It turns out he doesn't have his on because he was sleeping and somebody woke him up and then he came to wake you up. But it's a simple walkie-talkie, actually.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me flip him. Oh, he's got a radio. Shit.
It was in his back pocket.
No. Nash, you come away from the body with nothing but a cigar. You toss it on the ground. Ulla casually points out that you totally missed this radio unit.
To his belt.
It's such an archaic piece of equipment. You probably didn't even recognize it.
right?
Like, there's no way that could possibly work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like looking at a beeper. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Well, I assume it's not super complicated to figure out. So, like, he turns it on, right? Like, he turns on the knob and listens
check the
in.
squelch. Check the squelch. There's a squelch knob.
Yeah, it's got a couple different frequencies on it, and you turn through a couple different frequencies, and then you do hear one. And brains roll, please.
Okay. Highest is a 5.
Yeah. Okay. That's just a straight yes. You recognize the voice. It's EXO, and he's talking to the adults down there. EXO is the very first guy you met. He's the leader of this entire place, and he is perhaps the only adult besides you who's not running down to the end of the tunnel. Instead, he's on the radio, casually giving orders to the crew down there. He's the one who said, pick the next smallest kid and send them in. But keep a rope on them. You don't want to lose them all.
That motherfucker.
That's good.
I'm really, Trae, I just want you to understand that I really am coming around your side of things.
Uh-oh.
I'm not. Fuck. I'm not far behind. God. Fuck. Why do people have to be this way, Reg?
Why are you asking me?
I.
So people like us can intercede, right?
Is that radio? Are you just leaving it open? You listening in?
I'm not depressing the button. Yeah, I'm just listening in.
Still?
Yeah, I would just leave it on. Yeah, there's nobody around us, so there's no reason to turn it off.
Okay, so the voice back from the other end then answers, ain't nothing but a drain on the community as far as I'm concerned. Ain't got no parents.
Todd's just listening to us getting all riled up. He's like, let me just sprinkle another. Like,
to which Exo says, they're useful as long as they can work. They'll grow up one day, and then they'll have to make the same choice their parents made. Hopefully they choose better. Over now.
So I don't know if you want to make me psychology roll. Nash's impression, he says, so they killed all of these children's parents? Is that what he just fucking said?
That's exactly what he just said.
Okay, well, let me clarify that a little bit.
were they sold?
There are some children here who seem to be with an adult who resembles them. But these kids in these work groups here are not with an adult who resembles them. You're starting to think that Whisper and the kids in the work team are the children of the adults who fought back and died.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they're being used for labor instead of they're basically prisoners of war.
There's no parent to say, hey, please don't send my child into a tunnel.
All right, so I'm going to go kill some people. Who's with me?
Yeah.
Trae pulls out his gun.
Trae,
I'm sorry. I just...
You are officially loose.
There will be at this point. So he has his list of commands, his parameters, and don't shoot people will go red.
And as Trae like turns to go away, Nash drops a hand on his shoulder and he says, "Not us, obviously, and not Ulla."
That is character growth.
The list expands with bullet points.
Yeah.
But what about children? Is there need a bullet point for that?
Obviously not the children, Reg.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in there.
I don't even think
The
we have to
list
kill
expands.
everybody. I mean, we
See?
start
You
with
expanded the
Exo.
list.
Do we find Exo?
Do you find him?
Well, to the group, I'm asking, like, if we kill Exo, does that resolve this situation, or do
Oh,
we
I see.
I don't
murder
think so. I
100
mean,
people?
I think we're in it now. I think if we're going out like this, I think we're just in it for a while.
all right, well, let's see if we can go help them rescue the one child, and then we can at least, handle that situation. If we can rescue the one, then we may be having further conversations, and the conversations just might happen at the point of a gun. That's all.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Todd, if I knew that they were going to send Whisper down that hole, is there a way that I can send her like an image? I'm gonna just keep doing this.
You can certainly try to, yeah.
I want to try it. I want to try to send her like information on how to create an air bubble for herself and or Max if she's going down in there, to try to ease her mind and maybe give her an idea, because I think that she's like me and she's going to be able to do it.
You need to beat a 10.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna. There's a 6. There's a 10 on the dot.
Holy shit. You've got okay.
A 4, a 2, a 3, and a 6.
Here's the thing. You like the first time, and now again this time, you basically you intended to like watch, listen, right, to be like a passive observer kind of a thing. But what you felt instead was a literal connection.
Yes.
Like she was every bit as willful in the connection as you, which was weird because only Frank has done that before. Same thing here. So you feel a two-way connection open up.
Yes.
And Whisper says, "You're that baby. You're that jar baby."
I am the jar baby. I knew it. I knew it. I knew you were like me. Listen, are they sending you down that hole?
I'm in the hole. It's
Oh,
really
you gotta.
small.
You're gonna be so hot. You're gonna be fine. You need to think really hard. I know you can do this because we're literally talking to each other, like so far away. I don't know exact distances, but I know you can save Max and you can be fine yourself. You gotta just know that there's air down there for you and that you're going to be fine. You gotta know it and make it happen.
There's air for me. It's getting slippery here. It's cold.
Yeah. No, now you just gotta like know that you're warm, and just.
I have to. There's a big rock. I have to go over this. There it is. Max! I see Max!
You get him. We would do it the air bubble with the air. You can shape
I can't reach him. I can't reach him.
You can pull him to just get. Can I? Did you roll a die? I heard a die roll.
Yeah, I did, but it's inconclusive. So carry on.
All right. You have to reach out. I know you can pull him towards you with the air bubble. Encase him in the life-saving oxygen. Think about it. Just think really hard. It's happening. It's happening.
I don't know what you mean.
And look,
Max! Max! He can't hear me.
He can. You just have to go down. You get in there. The water will move around you. You'll still be able to breathe. And I'm concentrating really hard, too. I want to send out that stuff happening. I want her to move the water. I want you to move the water like some sort of piss. I want you to just move the water around yourself and Max. And then you can pull him out.
Okay, so Whisper is in the middle of, once again, saying, "I don't know what you..." And then suddenly she shrieks, and there's a splash, and you feel that she's cold. She's fallen into the water. "I got Max! I got him!" She has grabbed Max, and you're going to need to roll again if you want to maintain connection. You got to beat a 10. But the last perception you get is that she has wrapped her arms around Max's body, and he is really cold.
Okay. All right, there's a 5 there now, so now I'm back on a 9. Back right on a 9. Shit. So many ones.
No, you cannot maintain connection.
Make a wave!
But I'll add something. There was another sensation pulling at your waist, at her waist. Oh, it's the rope. You realize the connection's gone, but as she was grabbing Max's body, they were pulling her back.
Oh, this is... Okay. Ugh. Oh my God. Nash.
Yeah.
Nash, whispers like me and Frank. I was just talking to her. She's getting out. She got Max and she's getting out of the hole. I'm super excited. And I'm like flailing around.
As we're running down the hallway, you're just
I'm throwing off your equilibrium. Like, the weight ratio is way off. I'm just too excited. Oh God, I can't believe it. It's another one.
Yeah, I assume at Ulla's insistence, we've been running down the hallway.
Yes.
I love it. While you're running, all this activity is actually going on in a jar on your back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This excited baby flailing around. By the time you guys get down to the end of the tunnel, the whole town is down there. The adults are like whipping out their like celebratory cigars and stinking up the place, slapping each other on the back. Whisper has given a full report on what she found in the hole. Apparently, she was able to maintain position for a good long time, and in her searching for Max's body, recognized that he was swirling around in a circle. It's like an underwater pool fed by a small trickle of water. It's not like a huge stream or a river, but it is fresh water. They found a source of water. It's not huge, but they're really fucking happy about this. Now, of course, it means that they're going to have to, once they find a way to get this water out, they're going to have to deal with the structural issues of strengthening the wall near the places where the water hole is. But for now, they're really excited. They've never found water before, and it's almost like a party down here. Nobody is even talking about how one kid died.
I was just about to ask for clarification on that.
And so the kids are not real happy, but the adults are real happy. Oh, by the way, there are some kids who are not workers. They were with their adults the whole time, so they're here too.
Right.
So we're there now?
Yeah, you made it down to the end of the tunnel now. The whole fucking town is down here. There's like 80 people down here.
I would have turned off and stashed the walkie as we got close.
Before you even get all the way down there, you can see that it's like almost like even from a distance, you can hear it. It's almost like a party. It's like a revelry, right?
So there were 4 foremen down there, right?
Yeah.
Where's the one that ordered Whisper to go down there?
Yeah, you recognize him. He's got a yellow jumpsuit, standing in a group with some of the other miners.
Sounds
now,
good.
Not everybody here is a miner, right? There's people who do sewing. There's people who do cooking. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll make my way towards him.
He pays no attention at all.
Yeah, I'll just kind of like nonchalantly, like Assassin's Creed style, pushing my way through the crowd in order to get to him. I don't know if anybody else wants to do anything.
Nobody's stopping you. Nobody's paying you much attention.
No. All right.
You may be standing as close to him as you wish.
Where's Whisper in all of this?
Whisper is with a group of other, the other work kids, and they're sort of down toward the left end. They're sitting together, and someone's given them stuff to eat. They're perhaps the only people here who are not in a celebratory mood, but it's been a minute, and at least they're no longer crying. This is not the first time they've seen death.
It's way too late for a medic roll, right? Like, this kid's dead. Right?
He was dead before Whisper even grabbed him. He was frozen.
Okay.
Oh God.
Now that there's 80 people in here, like, Nash is looking around. Like, he sees Trae parting through the crowd.
Yeah.
Ulla goes over towards Whisper. And I think, Nash is, to Reggie's like, what's our fucking play? Like, it's going to get real bad real quick.
Well, you did take the leash off of Trae.
I know. Now I might regret that because
yeah. I mean, I think we know what. Look, I don't know. I feel like we're all sort of in a bad way about this right now. I feel like this is a fun little surprise to find someone like Whisper down here, and I think you shouldn't regret taking Trae off the leash, and I think we should at this point follow Ulla's lead as far as being okay with this, and then Trae as well in protecting these children from what's going on.
Is this an over-the-shoulder conversation, or are you holding the jar in front of you?
I think it's an over-the-shoulder.
Yeah, I think everything
Nash
is
kind of
just
has head turned a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Rich, can you knock all these people out?
Yes. I would like to knock all these people out.
Right, like Nash knows Reggie can do shit, but he's not really sure what the extent is, right?
Well,
so
I think I can do anything. So I'm going to try to do everything. So if you ask that, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, don't you want to kind of see what Trae's about to do and what Ulla's about to do? Just to see, like, maybe we just see what they're going to do, and then maybe I'll knock some people out. That seems like the easy way out for some of these guys.
Man, all right.
You notice that
Be ready.
It's almost. Is it on purpose? It's hard to tell. All these people like talking about how great it's going to be to have fresh water and how happy they are that they found water, and then the engineers talking about how they're going to shore this part of the wall up so they can maintain access to the water without damaging the structural integrity of the tunnel, and all this conversation going on. Everybody's slapping each other on the back, but nobody's coming up to you guys. In fact, it's almost like a circle around you guys, like an empty space between you and the next clique of people talking. Like, you've been here a minute. No one's even come up and said, "Hey."
Yeah. It's not surprising, I don't think.
At one point, a couple of the people were looking at something on a table, and then they finally moved to go see if they can get some food. And you see what's on the table, and it's the little body of Max, and it's kind of blue.
I think in terms of narration, I'll let Ulla do something first, because I'm pretty sure we all know what's gonna go down. So
I think Nash starts to move over towards Ulla and the kids, and like no one's paying attention, so like unslings their rifle, but like has it not at the ready, but like, you know what I mean? He's not like ready, but like it's in his hands and ready, like down by his side, sort of thing. Reg, not the kids.
Oh, thank you. Let me just make a note to my drop-down list. And Nash, then I don't have a drop-down list.
It's fine, Reg. It's fine.
No, I just figured if it comes to it, I'm going to target all the adults.
And I, you know, then I think just Nash whispers to Ulla like, just
funny. Trae has the same idea.
Okay, at this moment,
Ulla is going to talk to Whisper.
Thank you. Yeah. Ulla approaches the children. Now Whisper recognizes that you're there, runs up to you, grabs your legs, and hugs you.
Shit. She's going to go down on one knee and kind of put herself eye to eye with her and says to Whisper, "All right, child. This is a lot to ask you, but I need to know, did they," and she kind of points back to, adults, "did they kill your parents, everyone's parents who's here working?"
Whisper looks a little bit confused at that. My parents went out looking for a better life and just never came back for me.
"Yes, I don't think that happened," Whisper. And then she turns and she looks back over at
I want
Trae
to
and
see
she,
Jar baby. Now she runs over to Reggie.
Oh,
What
hi.
did you tell me? What did you tell me? How did you do that?
It's a thing. It's oh God. I'm just realizing now. I don't know if I've really ever thought of the best way to try to describe something like this, but you've got you have a sort of connection to the world around you in a way that allows you to sort of kind of manipulate things to a certain extent. It's really hard, but with practice, you can get really, really good at it. He lied.
I'm not good at it. I can't save Max. Starts crying.
Ooh, crying child.
So at this point, Trae will have his drone, and it's kind of been near Whisper, like off in the distance enough, like at the top of the tunnel. But it's like kind of hovering down a little bit near Whisper and by extension Ulla. And so it's kind of right there, somewhat listening into the conversation, but
so you can be hearing this conversation. So Whisper's just shaking her head and saying, "I can't do it. I'm not like you. I'm not like you, Jar baby."
No, I wasn't even like that. When I was your age, I wasn't even close. You don't understand. Yet your age, you did something, and I didn't even know this was a thing when I was your age. So
Her eyes
my God.
get big. Her eyes get big as she looks straight at you. Maybe you could save Max.
Ooh.
Can you do it? You got manipulation.
Reggie's speechless. Like, of course I can. And she's kind of like is with the very upset and distraught child in front of him and not knowing exactly what to do. Reggie's eyes are frantically going back and forth from the child to Ulla, back from the Ulla to the child. Like, oh, yeah, I will try. I don't know if I can. I will try my very best.
Yeah.
Are there any older children in the group that she can talk to?
There are, up to like 12.
She's going to try and find the oldest one.
That is Marcy.
Okay. she's going to walk over to Marcy and she's going to say, Marcy, we don't have a lot of time.
What do you
What
mean we?
happened? What happened to all of your parents?
All our parents went out looking for the food, shelter, water. Some people's parents made it back. We were
Todd, do
all
I think that they were just lied to? I mean,
they're not lying to you. They're sincere. They believe this.
no, I'm
No,
saying,
the
do I
kids were
think that the
lied to.
kids were all just lied to?
They honestly believe that their parents went away and never came back.
I think ultimately, does Ulla want to believe she's being lied to?
No, I mean,
No.
I think is it a brains check, Todd? I mean, it's pretty clear to the players that they murdered everybody's parents. Like they told these kids, "Oh yeah, your parents must have got hurt, or where they found a better place and left you here because whatever."
Well,
right?
I would say that you have a good amount of circumstantial evidence here, but honestly, the closest thing you've heard to like evidence that would stand up in court is probably Exo saying they made the wrong choice.
Can I make a psychology check?
Yeah.
That's going to be an 8.
Really?
Psychoanalyze the shit out of it.
Yeah. You're reviewing this in your head, and then you're thinking about, you don't have a whole lot of context to go on. But when you met these people the first time yesterday, you came down to the end of the hole and the miners were all there, and there's a whole bunch of like political speech. Like whenever Exo talked, he looked around, there was raised fists, there was people overstate chanting. It really started to feel like almost like a political ideology or somewhere between that and a cult, right? And some of the slogans were violent, and some of the people were armed, and when they chanted their slogans, they put their hands on their guns. And again, none of this would really stand up in court.
It doesn't need to.
But there was a civil war here, and people died. And then the adults, the children of the adults who were killed, were put into forced labor and told falsehoods.
But kids are much more perceptive than most adults give them credit for. A 12-year-old has probably got a pretty good idea about what actually happened. So is she telling me the company line, or is she telling me what she actually believes?
No, this kid honestly believes, and so does Whisper. They honestly believe what they're telling you.
That seems crazy. How did they murder all those people with none of the kids knowing?
It would have to be not in what you'd picture as a violent battle, but rather a quiet series of murders.
At this point, Trae's gonna take the drone down like a little bit above head level, but right to Ulla, like almost face to face at this point.
Okay.
And just get a look at her current like expression and condition.
Does anybody here have any skill that nudges up against medical?
I have medic.
All right. Well, then I'm not even going to make you roll for it. That kid it's been 10 minutes since he fell in the water. It probably took at least 2 minutes for brain death to occur. So brain death set in about maybe 7 minutes ago. People have been retrieved after longer than that.
Well, so that was my question when we first came down, because I mean, Nash would have immediately tried to work on the kid if I thought that I could save him, right? As opposed to all of this other.
The whole attitude changed. You were probably hit off guard because you came down here expecting a fight, and instead you found a party.
Yeah.
But here you are now, and it's dawning on you that the kid Whisper just said to Reggie, maybe you can do it. Maybe you can save Max. And that's what jarred the thought in your head, Nash. You're going, actually, that's not impossible.
Right. All right, so I think he just says, "Reg, back me up," and he starts pushing. Get the fuck
It's all
out
I
of the
can
way.
do.
And yeah, then he goes over and starts fucking chest compressions and turns the kid over on the side, try to clear the airway, all of the things.
But one of you is going to be in charge here, and the other one is helping.
Yeah. I'm actively physically trying to save the kid mechanically. Whether or not Reggie can aid that lucid dreamingly.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay, so
by drawing water out or like reactivating neurological.
So Reggie is the helping role. All right. So we're going to resolve that first. And honestly, this is not all that unlikely for you. Beat a 6.
I'm using lucid dreaming. This is yes.
The idea here that I think the idea here is that you are basically trying to catch whatever spark.
Yeah. I'm like moving the blood. I'm like getting all the blood like just circulating like faster than it probably needs to be. I'm pumping all the valves, other health, other stuff. All of it's happening. But yeah, let me.
He's got the ripcord. He's imagining a ripcord like on a fucking weed whacker.
Exactly. I'm in there like zapping things, sewing stuff. I don't know. I mean, but I 5 is my highest and 9 again. No 6s, just like none.
Reggie screaming in my head, "You gotta open the clutch! You gotta open the clutch!
Open the clutch! You gotta push it in! You gotta do it! I'm pushing all of this blood around. I'm getting it kind of flowing."
Did we lose time?
Ah, fuck! God damn it!
I'm loving this thing on the side. There's nothing is like building more like urgency than him. Like basically, Trae's just waiting for the nod. Ulla's hands on her gun. Like this is shit. Like we gotta get this shit away before shit starts to happen.
Literally, she's just like, "How do I save the children first?" She's like, before I start murdering people, I just want to.
Well, so like meta then, right? So like I assume you would have heard me talking to Reggie, right? So like
you guys have run off to save the child, so she's not doing anything.
Well, but when we first came in, you're muted, but hold on. When we first came in, he said that some of the people when Exa was giving the political speech, kind of like were like, I guess, right? So like not everybody here is actively complicit in murder, but like still theoretically existentially complicit in murder because they're here and they didn't do anything to stop what's currently happening, whatever. Whole different ballpark. There are people who are complicitly essentially murdering children, right? But if Reggie can knock everyone out, we can grab the kids and fucking dip and maybe kill Exo on the way out just for shits and giggles. But get the kids and get out, right? Like, I still don't know that we want to murder 80
such
people.
A strange thing. Like, how many kids are down there? Like 50, right?
15.
15. Oh, 15.
15 that we want to take.
That we want to take, but we take them, and then we need to.
I mean, it's a lot of XP. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like I can spend this shit at a.
Reggie, you are trying while Nash is doing every first aid and medical technique that he knows. You are trying to connect to that brain in there because the heart has stopped pumping and there's not a lot going on, but the structure of the brain is still there. It has not begun actually decaying yet. And you're trying to pump it full of energy.
See his mind.
Okay, that's what this role is.
You've got a 9, right?
Yes. Oh, sorry. You must not have heard. I'm sorry. I did. My total is 9.
Nash, you're working on the kid. A minute goes by. Reggie is like straining and nose bleeding inside the little jar. Suddenly the eyelids flutter a little bit. Make your roll.
All right. Am I getting assistance from him? Is that what happened, or
This
is
is
it?
a
Are we
plus
handling?
2. It's a plus
Plus
2
2.
from Reggie.
All right. So I am at rolling it with a plus 4.
Reggie just made the eyes flutter.
Ooh. Well, it's a good thing. I got a 7 total.
Zombies.
I rolled a 3 plus 4.
The eyes shoot open, and the kid spits out a bunch of water.
I immediately turn him and start, slapping him on the back.
Good job. Good job. Oh, no, like a life-saving slap. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
The adults around you gasp. The gasp trails through the crowd. The kids at the far end stand up and see what you've done and all come running over here. People are fucking amazed.
I think he just looks up like he's holding the kid. I'm assuming he's shivering and shit and whatever, right? Like cold and everything. And he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you people? This kid was fucking dead."
Exo steps forward. He's got his cigar in his mouth. He takes it out and starts gesturing around with it. It takes people taking risks to build civilization, my friend. Their names are memorialized in this tunnel. Now, you stick to your business and I'll stick to mine. I thank you for bringing the kid back. But his lot in life is to work, just like my lot in life, and hers, and his, and his. I don't know what you do. Maybe you're the problem.
How close is he to me?
He's right in front.
Oh, so I put the kid down, right? So I figure I kind of holding him, right? Like he's laying on the thing, but I'm kind of holding him. I put him down, and I just as I turn, I just fucking crack him right in the nose.
I guess that's the nod, Trae.
Yeah. Okay. So he's not ready, but he does have warrior defenses. You got to beat a 4 here.
Oh no! It's a 4.
That's a yes, but you hit him, but he grabs your arm. So he's going to take a point of damage. I'm going to say you broke his nose. But he grabs your arm, and he pulls you into his body.
Great headbutt.
In his other hand, he's got a knife.
Oh, he's getting the headbutt.
The knife is. I need to disintegrate the knife.
Maybe okay. So it's time to go into frames.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Okay.
I was gonna say, Ulla's gonna start shooting some people.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So
Sorry.
my intent is to put this knife into Nash. Nash, your intent is
I'm gonna use might, and he pulls me in, and I just kind of go with it, and I fucking throw my head right into his face.
nice headbutt. Okay. I got 9.
I got an 8. Shit.
All right. So, what was your natural roll?
6. 6 plus
Fuck,
2.
me too. What's your stat? I got 3.
I also have 3.
Fuck.
It's a stat off.
All right, they're both happening. We're both taking a hit. I'm headbutted and I stagger back. You are stabbed, and it's just a small knife. It's 3 inches long. It's poking out at you. You've taken a point of might.
Oh, might. Okay. I assumed it was all.
You've been stabbed by worse.
Is there any way that
and all of the other adults here just sort of step back, like nobody is jumping in to second this guy.
Is there any way that a couple other of us can get thrown into initiative order? Because I have a feeling that Trae and Ulla also want to do things, but not connected to what's going on.
You can right now,
Nash, but
now nothing's as fast as the blade that was already inches from you, but yeah, right on top of that. Sure, go.
Okay. Well, yeah. So just with.
Okay, so what you're seeing is that the guy says something threatening. Nash comes up with the punch, hits him in the nose, but the guy grabs Nash, yanks him, stabs him, and then the two of them stagger back. Both of them bleeding, but from different places. Now, you.
Well, yeah. So just like in similar time, but disconnected from that almost is, I've Trae has now seen the angry yet placid look on Ulla's face and he recognizes that almost as like the it's go time, like focus phase face. And he's already pretty much walked up like within a foot of his target of the foreman.
That's true.
And at that point he just pulls the pistol out, puts it to the back of his head, and pulls the trigger.
Oh. All right, just beat a 1.
Yeah. Gee, I don't know if I'm able to do that. That's gonna be a 4. That was actually way too close.
Yeah, actually. You're lucky you were like right there.
Yeah.
No mods. Beat it. Yeah.
5 with the gun that I have. I forgot about that, but yeah.
What weapon is this? Is this a big badass boom?
No, it's a little. I mean, not a little pistol, but it's the smart pistol that Nash got him.
Oh, okay. So
I was the only one that ever actually carried my gear over. I wasn't made naked by Frank, so.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got punch, pull, stab, stagger, boom. Everybody turns, and although a minute ago nobody else was jumping into the fray, now a lot of people draw weapons. Trae, you now you've pissed them off.
Yeah.
And Ulla, simultaneous with Trae's gunshot.
Okay, I have a question. The nanobot swarm that I absorbed.
Uh-huh.
Is it? Can I expel it to use it?
You think so? You have expelled it to use it for recon.
What else do I think I can expel it to do? Considering it was trying to murder us when we first found it.
Yeah, you really have no idea because there's different types of nanobots, right? Some of them break things down. Some of them form networks that carry signals. Some of them interface between humans and machines. Some of them can form matter into other types of matter. I mean, there's lots of different types, and you don't know what's in your head. And whatever's in your head was probably experimental on top of all that.
Even better. Okay, so she's gonna expel the nanobots in a cloud around her. So she goes a little bit like creepy witch, cyber witch.
Nice.
Yes.
Hair all blowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Camera 3, we need a wind machine right over there.
There's a weird backlight all of a sudden.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Slow
Like
motion.
they come out of her nose and her mouth and her eyes and her skin, and it's just like she just exudes a cloud of these things.
Oh, that's
Little
awesome.
black nanobots.
And this is kind of up to you. Is this more of a brains thing or more of a psyche thing? Is it like intuitive and just body natural kind of thing, or are you like thinking about it and telling them what to do in a logical, orderly way?
She's more analytical than psychic.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Okay. So
She's a scientist.
as a standing rule, then when you do this nano stuff, it's going to be usually a brains roll of some kind.
Okay. Yeah.
And what did you? Well, go ahead and roll just to do that. Let's just expel them.
Okay.
Tell me what you get. The highest.
All right. I rolled a 6.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So yes, they come out of your head, and that looks really weird. But you guys saw that happen in reverse, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So you all know what's going on.
Fine.
Yeah. The other people who see this happening are like stepping the fuck back and holding their arms out. What the fuck is going on over there? Nobody is standing close to Ulla except for you guys. And then what are you gonna try to tell them to do?
Well, okay, so part of this is just to freak everybody the fuck out. So maybe
You're doing that.
because I want the people who are like not fighters to run away, right?
Nice.
It's kind of like I'm trying to make a creepy scene in a way just to like influence the ones that are like, fuck, I'm out of here. I'm not into this one. This is not my fight.
Yes. Let's sign up for this shit.
All right.
Yeah,
So you know what? Despite what I said a minute ago, I think I am going to ask for this next roll to be psyche based because you're trying to influence their psyche. You're trying to be scary to humans, right? You're trying to do something that they will find scary.
I rolled a 5.
Oh, so describe to me what you're doing, what they're doing.
Okay, so the nanobots, I don't know what they can do, but like I'm trying to get them to maybe influence the environment around me, and like you said, like create a wind, create a scene, make strange lights, change matter. I don't know. Start eating shit.
There's no leash. He just
They
took
all
the
start
collective
blinking.
Do shit. I don't know.
Fair enough. Okay, so Ulla, sink in character for just a second here. Think about being Ulla for a second.
Mhm,
Think about your
mhm.
past. Think
Sure.
about the last few days. Now tell me what's the scariest thing that comes to your mind right now?
She's a bioengineer. So she would probably send them towards XO and fuck him up.
Bioengineering.
Okay, but I'm talking about the freaking people out. Like, what
Yeah.
is this in Ulla's head?
Yeah.
What could these nanos do? That's the scariest thing.
I mean, I was thinking being absorbed into his body and exploding him into a mist of blood and gore.
Oh my. Okay, so is that?
Is that scary enough?
Well, yeah. Well, you did say that you wanted to scare the other people into running away. So whatever you do, I'm trying to make sure that it's scary, right? But also, I'm trying to get a statement of intent from you because we're going to roll for it in a second. And you might roll over that or you might roll under that. But I need to know what you're aiming for, right?
Sure. So it's like something like it literally like digs into him and like, yeah, it's gross, gory,
Yes.
just a mist of blood. And yeah, it might not kill him. It may just maim him terribly.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get in. We're gonna get in between all his molecules and expand, which I think is actually not that hard. So you want to be to 5. This is a psyche roll. And do you have any ads you think you can apply here? Probably not.
Bioengineering?
I like it.
Well, yeah, that's knowing your target. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay. And that's a +2. So
Whoa.
do I roll 2 extra dice or do I add 2? I can't remember.
Okay, so this is what's your psyche?
My psyche's 3, so I'm rolling
So you're
3
going to be
dice
rolling 3 dice, taking the highest, and add 2.
and add 2. Okay. All right.
You want to be to 5.
All right. Well, I rolled a 6, so that's an 8.
Nice.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, so
This
that
is
is
gonna be bad.
exactly a yes. And the nanobots swarm out from Ulla's head, spread out through the crowd in a menacing manner, which makes everyone rush away. Half of the people, those with kids, grab their kids. Others just, the scary ones, just the ones who are scared, the skittery ones, they just run.
Can I just for like flavor effect, you just see Ulla and she literally like just kind of growls and she's like, run.
Nash,
Oh, I love
run,
it.
Nash.
I love it because they're swirling out of your head. Like your head is the center of like a maelstrom, right? And they're swirling out of you in a circular manner. And your hair, by the way, is whipping up and around in spirals up and around your head as they come flying out of your head and out of your hair. The spirals expand. The crowd is pushed back in all directions. People scream and people run. Half of the people, obviously, just like this is not what they bought a ticket for, and they are out of here. They're gone. But but the swirling then changes its focus to Exo, and they all come flying back in to his body. His body, he staggers, looks straight up. His body begins to swell. His hands and his face are turning bright red, and we start a new frame.
I pop him.
Sorry, guys.
No, yes.
I
know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nash just takes the knife out and lunges and, goes to fucking stab him.
Yeah, he can't even beat a one, right? He can't even see you right now. His
That's
body
gonna be a
is being
7.
expanded at a painful rate. And when you stick your knife into him, there is literally a popping sound, and he pops like a fucking balloon. Blood everywhere. You're all covered in blood.
Well, not me. I'm in a jar, protected from all of the
And the nanos reassimilate and fly back into Ulla's head.
Jesus Christ.
I think Nash just yells, "Get the kids! Let's go! Let's go!"
Okay, well, the kids are all screaming, and the adults are just fucking. The ones that are left are standing there, they're just in shock. They're just in shock. They're pissing their pants. They are not processing what they just saw.
Nor should they.
I grab the gun that I put on the ground next to Max, and then I throw him over my shoulder, figuring he's not in any. Oh, can I? Fuck. Trae, grab Max.
Yeah, maybe not.
Sorry.
You got some heavy gear on your back already.
Yeah.
I think at this point, like Ulla having returned to normal, she has her gun out, but she's not pointing it actively at anyone at this point because most people have run away, and she's like waiting for any of the other ones to get like twitchy, but she kind of like looks over to where like Whisper and the other kids are, and she just looks at them and she says, "All right, kids, you have a choice. Leave and get the hell out of here and away from these people who've been using you and murdering you and sending you down dark holes to die, or you can come with us." What a bit odd, but no dark holes.
No dark
Wow.
holes, exactly.
Well, once we get out of this hole, we're just in a giant hole.
Yeah, this whole
Okay,
thing is like a big hole.
It's a big hole.
The kids are all looking at each other and looking at you, and nobody knows what to say. And what they just saw is a little bit mind-blowing, and it might take a minute for people to, be able to speak rationally and like make decisions with normal functioning human brain. Right now, they're just fucking shell-shocked. But the first person you said you were watching to see who makes a move first. First person who makes a move is Blinky. And he raises both hands to show you that he's unarmed and he means you no harm. As he slowly steps forward. He says, I take it you have problems with Exo. Some of us did. There ain't no court here, and there ain't no judge here. I hope you don't do that kind of thing on a regular basis. But I understand. Looks like, and he looks up and around at those who remain. Looks like I'm in charge now. Y'all are free to do whatever you want to do.
All right,
Nash
thank you.
looks at Trae.
Real quick, Trae, in the background of all that, would making 2 attacks be 2 actions? So I could I do 2 actions at once with a penalty and just let off 2 quick shots?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm assuming that the guy that I killed was also talking to a few other people, so I'm gonna like as he falls, like just another like boom boom of like the 2 guys right in front of him.
Oh, but we've had dialogue happen since then.
Oh
Could
yeah,
he
but
have
that's
done
just
that when I
happening like
popped?
in the background, and yeah.
Well, when I stabbed Exo, could he not have done that? It will all have been in the same frame, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So what this is you roll one of them at an egg 2.
All right. So I rolled a 5 plus 3 minus 2, so that's a 6.
These people aren't ready to be shot. Even at the best, you'd be beaten at 4. That's definitely a yes and, which means that both of them succeed, which means there you go.
Yeah.
So there's 3 bodies over there. So you basically killed all of the like people that were watching and sending the kids down the holes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I said there were 4 adults, but I'm going to retcon that because I had told you there were 3 teams of kids, so it makes sense there were 3.
Oh, true. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So all 3 foremen then. Basically, it was boom, boom.
Trae style.
Trace.
Trae handled it. Trae handled it.
Can he please you can maybe, you don't have, maybe do that every time you do something cool like this. Just stand and go, Trae style. That'd be great.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
All right,
probably
so
shouldn't.
Ula looks over at Blinky and she's like, so whose idea was it to use the children as slave labor and to essentially murder them one at a time?
Yeah, no, slow down. Life is hard. And anybody who eats has to work.
Excuse me, are the rest of you sending your children down here? Or is it just the ones who don't have parents?
Well, different people have different jobs, you see, and there was no one to voice for these children. They were used for the most logical choice, which is to go into the small holes where the adults can't get.
Yeah, so the voiceless had no voice, and so you just killed them.
Listen, the idea is not to kill them, obviously. I mean, you don't kill your own workforce. But sometimes people die. It's just a reality. It's dangerous work. You think children are the only people who die down here?
Her hands like on her gun.
Yeah,
Like,
you're saying wrong things.
sometimes people die.
They're not people, they're children.
Yes, these are children, and there are limits to what we should ask children to do.
Voiceless no more.
These children know a whole lot more than you give them credit for. And they are contributors to our community, and as a result, they're fed, schooled to the degree that we can school them. Look, I know that you're picturing this as some sort of, let's just say it, slavery. But this ain't slavery. These people are free citizens. They're just not old enough to make up their minds yet. They'll get there. And they'll probably still be minors. Well, look, if one of them discovers that they're good at cooking, we'll put them to work wherever they're most useful. Look, this is the people as a whole. The people will decide with the best talent to whatever task suits. Look, how else you plan on running a community? From each according to
start by not sending children to die in dark holes. That's work for adults.
Yeah.
We take from each according to his abilities. And crawling in them little places that they're too small for an adult, well, that's an ability that they have. And look,
there's other ways to do things.
Now they found water for us. You see,
this child almost died, and none of you cared. You didn't even try to save him.
I got friends that died in this tunnel, lady. Children aren't the only ones who die down here.
Hey, dumbass, you ever think about going back to the fucking city? They don't give a shit about the tunnel anymore.
We're going back to the city, friend. We got that covered. And I don't know where you come from, but just rest assured, we got our connections in there. I don't know whose side you're on. Maybe you ain't on either side. But we still have a message to bring to the city, and we're bringing it.
Trae at this point, so everything will have happened pretty much like behind him and over his shoulder. So he will like kind of glance over and then turn and just like any running around. I'm assuming there's like kind of panic, gunshots and stabbings and everything. So he'll just make as straight a line as possible to what's going on.
What they're mostly doing is standing around. There's like 15 or 20 people left here, and
Yep.
I'm sorry, but that there's even fewer than that because I was including the kids when I counted the whole 80. Okay, so let's say 15 kids and 15 adults, and the 15 adults are mostly kind of like, when there's been an accident or someone's stabbed and there's a body on the street, but the cops are there, so people just sort of like stand in a circle and talk quietly to each other. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, so he's just beelining it to the group with an eye trained on Blinky.
Blinky's just still got his hands up. He's trying to keep his voice as calm as possible.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying, in fact, to assure Ulla that he's not as mean as Exo was, and that he sees this thing as just sort of a communist share and share alike, life is hard situation.
I'll tell you what. We'll solve this problem, and we'll solve it because you won't have any more voiceless children to worry about. And if you want to send your own children down those holes, well, that's a whole other story. And since I don't think that's going to happen because it didn't happen before, then it will probably be an entirely different situation for you.
No, wait a minute. You telling me you're taking all these kids?
Yes. We're going to get rid of the problem for you. They're welcome to come with us. How about that? I'm not taking them anywhere. They can choose.
He's processing this. He turns around and looks at the group. He raises his hands like questioning. A couple others question back, shrugging their shoulders. He turns back to you. Well, if they want to go, then they can go. And by the way, now that you look over there for their opinion, turns out only about half of these kids want to go. Whisper's one of them.
Max? Or is he
Max
just
is
out
probably
of it?
unconscious in
Yeah, he's
Jack's
probably
arms,
not.
right?
Whisper is like sitting next to Max and got her arm around him, and he's doing okay, and others are tending to him. Yeah, he'll come to. He's still not,
Yeah.
he's not like really talking yet.
I mean, they did just murder him
Yeah, he was just
by proxy.
a little dead over there
He's
for a
in a
little
state
while.
of shock. They're like pouring like warm water into him, try to warm him up, rubbing him with blankets and stuff. But yeah, he nods. So about half of the kids, like, this is the only life they know. They agree with the adults that everybody has to work. That's what they were raised to believe.
So the older kids want to stay. The 12.
Probably the
10,
older
11,
kids.
12
Yeah, like they
adults.
understand this as, well, that makes sense. I've been told my whole life, everybody has to work and fair's fair. Yeah. So you guys are left with like six kids. Like, and let me see what the oldest is.
I mean, Ulla's fine with that. Because
The oldest is 8 years old.
Yeah, she's like at this stage where she's like, these kids deserve to have the chance to at least survive to adulthood, and doing what they're currently doing, the odds are pretty stacked against them. And so she wants to give them the best chance that she can. She doesn't know exactly what that's going to mean, but that's what she's thinking.
And so, Blinky said, you're free to go. He said, any kids that want to go with you, that's their decision. Now he thinks he's being extremely democratic here. He's saying leave it up to the kid. So you end up with 8 young kids that agree to go with you. Nobody's standing in your way. Blinky says that, the offer that EXO made you, I got no reason to break it. If you all want to work, you can stay as long as you want.
Nash just fucking laughs like just a harsh bark.
Well, I figured the answer would be no, but the offer stands.
All right, so let's see what we can do here. Do the children have anything that they need to get to bring with them? Because I'm assuming we need to go back to the town to get everyone's stuff.
Get all your stuff.
Nobody down here owns much,
Sure.
except for furniture. Everybody can carry on their back what everything they own, including the children, right? Like a blanket and some shoes and maybe, if you're lucky, a change of clothing.
Okay. Then, all right.
And when it comes to, and by the way, when it comes to there's a lot of stuff that you would think is rare, but this is not really like a totally barbaric situation, because they do go up to the surface and they pull stuff out of the suburbs, right? So they've got things like plastic pitchers and tumblers and backpacks and stuff that they pulled out of suburban houses up above ground. So the kids all have little backpacks.
So when he says we're free to go,
right now.
Can I either make a psychology or an intuition to read this guy?
Sure.
So which one is it? Because the bonuses are different.
Did you take intuition as a skill?
Yeah, well, because we talked about taking it as awareness, and you were funny about awareness, so we called it more of an intuition. I could, so in Call of Cthulhu, it would be psychology, right? It would be reading the person's body language, tone of voice. Are they sweating, right? This would be a psychology role or insight. But you went intuition. I think we talked about this maybe last post show, because it's a new skill. You were unhappy with awareness.
Awareness is a weird rule, but I think that the thing I was really hinging that on was there is a thing called situational awareness, right? Which is one type of thing. And then intuition, which is maybe a little more mystical type of thing that could be broader, but less tactically applicable. It could come in feelings or something like that. Whereas situational awareness is kind of being a well-trained soldier.
Right. Well, I have combat tactics, I think, was what we call our situational awareness.
It's the more intuitive kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, I have it definitely.
All right. Let's call it the intuition thing.
Okay. It's going to be a 6 total.
Blinky thinks of himself as a good man in a hard world. Everything he's saying reads totally sincere. There's not a drop of deceit in anything that he's saying. You feel that he does sense what Ulla's saying to him. He understands that he should feel guilty about his position on child labor, but he views it as a harsh reality of this world. And that to him is an ideological decision. Now, he also, there's not a drop of tears for EXO. No love lost between Blinky and EXO. Blinky believes that he'll be a better leader than EXO, and that everything will actually be better now. That's why he's talking so calmly. He honestly believes this is fine. And if half of these kids decide to leave, well, guess what? That's their democratic right.
Yeah, so I think I think Nash looks at Ulla and kind of, just gives her a nod and says, we'll hold you to that. Don't do anything stupid. So Nash understands that he believes this guy. He believes that we're gonna get out of here, but he's just reinforcing of don't do something stupid.
Mister, don't worry about it. You're welcome back anytime. I bear you no ill will. I question whether it's a good idea to take a bunch of small children out in the Badlands when it's hard enough to find food for yourselves, but I wish you luck.
All right, so we're going to feed everyone and then get the hell out of here. Does that seem like a general good plan?
Yeah.
Have a meal, and then we
Seems
have
fair.
to find a path, a better path than through the Badlands.
Well, I'll tell you what. Exo had extended one free day to you guys, and I think you ate that last night, but he looks over at the splattered, bloody remains of Exo on the ground, and he says, I think my first act as new leader will be, I'll call that a day's work.
That's wise of you. You are a wise leader.
I am very, very, insightful wisdom. Absolutely. And besides, you did find yourself a source of fresh water today. So let's just say that Max did all the work for us.
All in all, pretty good day.
All right, so we head back to get some food and then get ourselves
Kids,
together.
Yeah, he honestly means it. You can make another psych roll. To him, this is a good day.
I'll make a roll.
he
The
did
kids are
not like it,
between
though.
us.
Oh no, the kids, are you kidding? The kids are all circled around your back. They're fascinated by Reggie, and Whisper has been telling the other kids that Reggie is a talking baby, but he can talk in your head, and he can make you magic, and he can do magic.
Reggie's making all kinds of weird, butterflies float around and shit.
Kids fucking love you.
Okay, so then Ulla's at the back.
Faces and a wave of giggles passes through the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ulla's in the back. Nash and Reggie are in the middle, and Trae is in the front. So the kids are in the middle of our group in case something goes pear-shaped.
I'll just say too, up until the last moment, Trae had his gun trained on Blinky, just
I
waiting.
assume so. Yeah.
And Blinky could see that out of the corner.
Just
of his eye.
waiting
And
for the
well,
nod or the wink or any slightest look from Nash at all.
If he would have been insincere, his brains would be splattered all over the fucking wall right now.
Yeah, you're a good dog.
But as soon as Nash is like, okay, let's go, he immediately safety on in the holster and all right.
Safety first.
Right. Oh yeah. I assume it probably has a bio print on it, so it can only be fired by me anyway. So,
unless you guys have anything else you want to do here, I think we can just kind of assume that you eat, you gather up your shit, and the final scene will be. I love this in silhouette, right? Just you marching with this little line of kids out into the apocalyptic wasteland.
What was it, John? The Lord Huron's brother playing in the background?
Yeah.
Again. We have a space ballsian sort of silhouette on a dune, just walking off in the distance.
The only thing you're missing is the pipe, right? The Pied Piper. That's cool. I like that image though. Again, I love picturing this as like a heavy metal comic strip, and maybe it's in silhouette against the the orange sky in the background. Taking these steps. The funniest one, of course, is the baby, because it's this big jar on Nash's back, and then behind is this whole little line of kids, And Trae looking around with his hand on his weapon.
Yeah. I'm asking them all their names because I want to memorize I want to know all their names.
And next time, I will have you. That's it, folks. There we are. Iris out as the group leads the children out into the wasteland.
All right. But before we post show, so I want to thank everybody for checking it out. We have our Patreon up. Don't support us there. Support Todd on Patreon. Buy core things. Runners will come out at some point in the future. Second edition of Core Cthulhu is almost done by the time this airs. Hopefully, we'll have already been out. But live, it's being worked on. It's almost done. Here's
the thing. If you join my Patreon, you're getting Core Complete chapter by chapter as before it's released. So there's your incentive there.
You're getting Core Complete incomplete.
more core and core more complete. Core more and more.
We don't have a Discord for Legends, but we do have a Discord for Core. You'll find all of us hanging out over there, talking about game theory, game design, core stuff. There's links in the show notes for that. So if you're interested in any of those things,
hockey mascots,
fuck you, man! I will fight you over Gritty. So check out all those things. There's links for all of the currently available Core products again in the show notes. Please check all of those things out. Support all of that cool stuff. Thanks for checking it out, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
John Chakue.
What? Post show! Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Post show!
All right.
I think last post show we got messed up, so I was thrown off my game.
Coffee time. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, John, you must have missed it. The Seattle Kraken just announced their new mascot.
Gritty posted something. It was like an orange octopus.
Kraken?
So the Seattle Krakens, right? What do you think the logical mascot would be?
A kraken.
A kraken
something with a lot of tentacles.
Bowie the Troll.
No. You are lying.
Yes. I'm not.
So that's why he posted a picture of a troll then, or posted the meme of the troll kind of like peeking around the corner.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me see.
What the hell is that? What does that mean?
It's hockey mascots.
Is this a professional team?
Seattle Kraken, yes, they were an expansion team last year.
Oh, okay. I like the name. I just what's going on with
this.
the mascot?
Welcome to Sports
This
Talk.
is their mascot.
Welcome to Post Show. It's both sports all the time.
Sports Talk.
Sport thing. Yay.
I don't care about sports. I just care about the mascots. That's
Listen, I love a good Kraken, but I'm very confused by the rest of it.
right.
Oh, it says the page isn't working for me.
The whole link didn't. You got to highlight
the whole link. Yeah.
Oh, I did. Oh, for some reason
I
it's
don't know how to do stuff.
the bracket screwed it up.
So I just drag
That's
it
dumb.
up there.
I'm just gonna come out and say it.
I highlight.
It is
the
dumb.
thing.
Here's one live. That's the
Stupid.
that's
No,
a
I
full
didn't.
image.
I should have been able to figure that out.
That's so ridiculous.
That's just not a crack. It's just not.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Were they afraid to make like a Cthulhu monster? Like how else?
Right?
We can't put tentacles on this thing's face.
Yeah,
Right.
It's more like a kobold than a kraken.
Ooh.
I guess
I think
maybe
if
it's a
you told me
safety
they
thing.
intended that to be a kobold, then I'd probably believe you.
No, they got longer noses. They look like little
They're
dragons.
like little baby dragon men.
Well, yeah.
I think the tentacles are probably a safety issue, right? Like, how do you put someone in a suit of tentacles and be able to
Nah.
do stuff?
Could have made it look like what's his name? The
The pirate from
Captain from
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Make it look like that good, like
Davy Jones.
Davy Jones. There we go. Yeah, make it look like Davy Jones.
You could probably do tentacles
But with a
coming off
pointy
the
head.
head and shoulders, and the arms are like 2 of the tentacles, and the rest are fake tentacles. And then the legs are just kind of like, well, we know the legs aren't really there, but they're just there.
Could have made it happen.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Was this picture from like reveal night? Like, oh,
Yes.
you must be so excited to see that. Is anybody excited for a mask?
No.
Nobody.
I mean, if you're
Anywho,
Yeah. That was meant as a waylay while Todd was getting coffee.
Oh, right. Okay. All right.
Well,
Now I want to go
waylay.
liberate. Let's go liberate that mascot.
I don't know. I mean, did anybody expect?
That's next session.
God, take us to
Forget about
Seattle,
it.
baby.
We're gonna get into the city and then we're gonna kill Bowie the troll.
The big bad final boss.
Did anybody expect that was the way the session was going to go?
No.
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 Yeah.
No, I always say that I do low prep, but this is one of those sessions where I did literally zero prep.
Like I
Pretty much everything, like the fact that, okay, this is how much prep I did. The fact that Whisper is psychic happened only because Reggie rolled a yes bet.
Maybe I made her. I created a.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't reveal stuff like this, but
It won't
part
be
of it-
that difficult to convince me that I did that, and then I will just believe it. Reggie will just believe it.
I know you're absolutely good for it. And as far as the rest is concerned, I think here in post show, especially because, some of us, or maybe all of us, I don't know, John, if you actually GM, but we GM once in a while, and it's like a GM's technique. Part of what I do here, by talking about like how little prep there is, or how fluid you want to be when you set up a plot field, is to be like teaching by example for people who want to GM core or who want to run in an emergent way, right? It's kind of like, don't be scared. Look, I'm doing it right now. Look at that story that just happened. There's no way that would have happened if I'd sat down and written a plot. That just happened. Don't be scared that there's no net. You will always figure out a plot. Your players are there to help you, and they're geniuses. Let them do it, right? That's my whole technique. So it doesn't really hurt. It's a little scary sometimes, and you go, whoa, I had no idea what I'm going to say. But as long as you remember what you previously said, and you let your players spin off those ands and buts, you're going to get something. You're going to find something.
Yeah, that was a fun thing to come out, and now that she has left with us, that's a priority for Reggie to help her.
The last thing I expected, I mean, from this whole campaign, even from like back when Leslie first joined us in session 1, if you said these guys are going to end up leading a caravan or a children's crusade, I'd be like, what? How did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, I felt kind of bad. Go ahead.
I think if you put a group of children being forced into child labor in front of Leslie's always going to do something about it. So regardless of character, I think that's probably a Leslie trait.
It very quickly became about.
I think
that, very quickly.
It's probably also just a parent trait and a mom trait, especially because I saw your face when I said the kid was dead, and in the back of my mind, I'm going, there's a chance he's revivable. This is fiction, right? It took a while to figure out how to get to that point, but in the back of my head, I'm going, oh wow, I don't think Leslie's very happy with that, and I know there's a way back if they can figure something out.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad that it took us a while to get. Well, it took Nash a while to get there, right? Because like you were ready to murder from like the very first instant.
Yeah, we were going down there to murder. That was. It was like that was. That was the plan.
Trae style.
Yeah, and I feel like again, Nash isn't above that necessarily, but also like if Reggie could have knocked everybody out, we could have just like taken the kids and yeeted, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a weird line for him.
I think
Yeah.
Ulla's hoping that Blinky will be less of a problem, or I don't know if that what the right word is for it, but
Not as
maybe
harsh.
maybe the kids will be a little bit better off. Who knows? I don't know the answer to that. It sounds like he's at least a little bit more egalitarian. But
Well,
I don't know. Maybe
he's
we'll
he's
act
a
as
lot
the
calmer.
boogeyman who, do it again. We'll come back and kill you
Yeah.
and see who takes over.
yeah.
And when you first met him, it was obviously Exo was in control, and he handed you off to Blinky. Like Exo didn't have a whole lot of respect for Blinky. He just sort of handed you off, even though Blinky had already worked a full shift. Exo's here. These are your responsibility now. Go take them. Again, no love lost between those two guys. But I think that one good sign is that Blinky thinks these kids have a democratic right to decide, whereas Exo clearly did not.
Mhm. Yeah. Anyway, that's what she's hoping, and but I was not expecting to have a Scarlet Witch moment.
Right? That was pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
That was
Yeah.
fucking cool.
That was, yep.
She's like, what can I do with this shit? I don't know.
I kept having a look of like, I'm on Nash's back. So I can sort of see like Trae and then Ulla. I can see I can get this triangulation. And Nash is like, can you put all these people to sleep? It's like, well, sure, but don't you want to see what's about to happen? They both have looks in their eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh god.
And it dawns on me. Okay, so we've got Trae, who walks around viewing augmented reality and receiving reports from remote hardware and software systems. We've got Reggie, who is a psychic baby that can make magic things happen. And now we've got Ulla, who can send nanobots out of her head to blow people up and spy on shit. This is all basically magic. You guys are fucking magic. And Nash, you're the only human.
Yes.
Yep.
And you know what? They're probably fucking lucky because we probably could have just set up shop there and just controlled the water distribution.
Oh yeah.
We could have just been water magnates.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that we could have just killed like every single armed adult in there.
Would have been super easy.
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
It would have been pretty okay.
There would have been tops 20, probably more like 10, who like literally fought back.
Would have been over before it even started.
And
It
yeah,
would
I
have
mean,
taken us maybe 8 seconds.
I would have just removed all of the weapons, just crush all their nothing.
yeah, especially with the powers that Reggie and Ulla have, because they can do like Mass Effect kind of stuff.
Yeah, actually, I think she's a little bit more Jean Grey and a little less Scarlet Witch, but yeah, kind of.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, but when's the Dark Phoenix come out? That's
But she starts getting the nanobots to like levitate her up and like that'll be terrifying in its own right.
Oh god.
If we see Ulla in her hair a different color, maybe then it's time to.
Yeah.
right.
The nanobots can just change the color. There's just streaks, new streaks every day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I gotta wonder
What I
how
was
these
thinking was-
nanobots are gonna change her over time, because I'm like,
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe your
Yeah.
hair has a few silver streaks in it that weren't there before.
oh
Ooh.
god,
Oh my goodness.
turning into literal metal or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
she's
totally good with that if you want to go there.
like some sort of filaments of metal or
Yeah, like
something.
yeah, this is fucking DayTrippers, baby. There is no limit.
Nanobot carapace. Hardening.
That's, you know what? As a GM, that to me sounds like a challenge. Let's do it. Yes, you can have a nanobot carapace. You know,
We did it.
Now we're getting into Naruto territory.
well, this is what we have to compete with these days. No longer do we just have to be better than the Dungeons and Dragons movie. We're competing with real quality entertainment these days. Mind-blowing shit is on the regular on Netflix.
Well, it's very X-Men-ish, whatever is going on with her. So.
X-Men, yeah, absolutely. A lot of there's multiple timelines. There's people with weird powers. There's hidden, covert, corporate, evil going on.
Yeah.
God, Nash
sure.
is just the guy with the bow, right? Like he's just the guy nobody gives a shit about.
You're Hawkeye, the Avengers. You're surrounded by a bunch of people with superpowers, and you've got a fucking bow.
And you're the most stable one.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, this is a TV show one. That makes Nash the everyman. He's the point of view character, really.
Yeah. The hero.
It's always been Nash's story.
Yeah. Ulla was like, gosh, she was done with these people. She was like really trying hard to like get out of there without getting entwined with any of their stuff, and it was just doomed the minute there was.
That was tricky.
I
felt I was writing a hard, especially with you. I felt I was writing a very, very fine line. And I'm trying very hard to stay on that line because I want it to be morally ambiguous. These people are not what you'd consider evil. It's not like they're Nazis, right? But they've done their way of life. Okay, let's put it that way. Their culture accepts some things that our culture does not accept. And that's a tricky fucking issue. And one of the things that I love about our hobby, only a role-playing game can take you inside such a complicated human issue and really explore it from multiple angles. You couldn't do that in a book because you have to choose a path, right? You have to choose a line. Or same thing in a movie. You have to come through the thing with a particular point of view, but not in a role-playing game. We can have all different points of view and explore them all.
Yeah.
I think it didn't feel particularly morally ambiguous to either myself or the character, really, because I grew up working on a dairy farm. I'm not like unaccustomed to children working. Like if you grow up on a farm and you're a child, you are child labor for your parents. That's how it works, right? But
it's more than that. First off, war-torn landscape that they are the survivors of. They're not just farmers. But next off, there was something like a communist revolution that happened here. So these people do have a political ideology about it. That's the culture I'm referring to.
Yeah. I think I'm just saying the reason why I didn't find it morally ambiguous is because they were putting the children in danger. They weren't putting their own children in danger. They were only putting the children that didn't have anyone to speak up and protect them.
Exactly.
And so they were just taking advantage of these unparented children and putting their lives at risk on the daily for doing something that they didn't even have the guts to do or to send their own children to do. So it was like, it didn't feel morally ambiguous. It felt wrong. So it was like,
still pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
It's like, no. It's one thing to ask children to work. Many cultures do that and many people do that. And that is not that uncommon, but there's just limits, and there were no limits here.
Yeah, we don't have child minors anymore. Coal miners and that kind of shit. Like, it's just not.
Yeah.
Well, all children are minors.
Nah.
Yeah.
I was looking for a shitty moment to throw in, just a reference to how we've done this before, just to kind of mess with Nash a little bit. But I had a thought when Ulla was just feeling that man, just feeling him terribly. And I was like, I'm gonna throw in a thing, and I never did, and I just forgot. I just never did it. But I wanted that just like old times, like after you exploded him, and just to kind of. I just didn't do it. I just forgot all about it, and I just missed. I just thought that would be.
You know what? I missed it too. That would have been a great moment. I could have done it too. I could have gone. Reggie, you just had a moment of deja vu.
It would have. Yeah, I had the thought was quick, and then I never went back to it. But just for the interaction with Nash and feeling like, what are you talking about?
So just
not now.
Say the line right now, and then John, you just timestamp it and throw it in. And there we go.
All right, I'll do a reading. Ready? Okay. Let's try one. Oh, just like old times, eh, Nash? All right, let's try one where he's more excited. Just like old times. All right.
And as a matter of fact, it is just like old times.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that even mean?
All right, now do a sad one. Or like an exasperated one. Like, I can't keep dealing with this.
Yeah, but what's going to be the real mind-blowing moment is the time Ulla gets a deja vu about it.
Ooh, yeah.
That would be creepy.
God, Tim, not you too. Fuck.
And Nash is like, no, damn it, this is my story.
Nash's breaking point where it's like, I guess this is all just in my head. This is all my dream. I'm the dreamer.
Oh, yeah. Ulla's officially like sick and tired of Nash going like, it's not my world. And she's like, too bad you're here.
Yeah. I love that too. I think he did curse, as a matter of fact, in character. It is my fucking world.
Yeah, I like how Ulla took that next step at least, though, because like Nash has said that quite a few times.
So
and this is the first time you came back and you were like, "But it's my world."
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, now we've got 8 mouths to feed.
Yeah, but they're little.
Well, luckily, we're
Little tiny
only a
mouths.
few miles away from the city, so
That's true. We'll get there in no time.
this is our way in.
Yeah.
We found these children. Please let us in so that we
I
can
was
give them
thinking
a
about
hug.
that. Yeah.
And then we kill everybody.
We'll
in the
just
city.
use the children to get us in the city. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
They were trained to murder.
Well, yeah, but okay,
Good
put yourself
ideas.
in the mind of the
Right.
cop at the gate as you approach, and you say, "We found these children," and he's going, "You found them, huh? You just found them."
We
All
rescued
right, we have
them.
a few hours to come up with an elaborate how we have 8 children with us.
Yes.
That doesn't include murdering several people in an underground tunnel city.
We rescued them. It's true. Oh my god. Okay, but what Ulla is wondering now that like Reggie has found Whisper, she's kind of like she's like wondering how that's going to go down because she's like, does Reggie feel really alone because he has all these crazy like abilities and is like Whisper like the first person that he's ever, she's all like, what is happening with those two?
Yeah.
She was all about Reggie.
Well, let's face it, baby in a jar, that's pretty exciting. I mean, I think any kid would be enthralled just on that alone. But and you haven't seen Whisper actually succeed in doing anything except holding open the channel to communicate back with you. Now, you tried to make her create a bubble of air around her and Max. You get the feeling she was trying, but that didn't happen, and she fell in.
Okay, so I can know that she didn't do the thing that I was excited that I thought she did.
She did not do the thing. So
okay.
So
she did it. She just saved the kid by herself.
Well, basically,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
The only thing that makes you know she's psychic is just because she saw you, heard you, and held the channel open on her side.
Yeah, that was huge. Yeah.
So that's like her first psychic act.
Nice. She nailed it.
I like that I have a clip like right here on camera.
I've been staring at that all night.
It was there on Friday too.
It looked like it was just like a pin, like your screen is just something that's been pinned on the screen. Like
Yeah,
it's just
I
like
really
flipped on.
Yeah, I thought it might have been
how
like
is she doing that? Is it a backdrop? I can't.
I thought it was like a floating logo of some kind that I couldn't make out.
It's just a clip.
I had it up here on my desk and it was just clipped up here and I don't even remember why I did this. But anyway, I just realized it was in camera view. That's really funny.
It's a cool backdrop. She has like a really cool, fun border around her. Makes it look like it's a piece of paper I pin up in my office. This is great.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, it is so late and I have to go to work.
Yeah.
Me too.
Alas.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for playing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was flipping awesome. It was nice to see you have that witchy moment. That was fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Love the name.
Oh, before you leave, let's give everybody experience points real quick. Nash 3, Trae 3, Reggie 4, and I think I'm going to credit the saving of the children to Ulla. Does that sound fair to everybody?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Which means Ulla 9.
Nice.
Thank you. Alrighty. I should probably spend some XP soon.
Yeah, bump some shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on what you're saving for, I guess.
I don't know. I need to look through and figure out what I'm going to do next. Now that
A
I've
lot
got
of the ways to spend XP take a little time.
Mm-hmm.
Training time or somehow converting that into a thing.
Yeah.
So you haven't really had a lot of time to do anything that would involve training or whatever. Reading, studying, working out. We've been, it's been 3 days. We've done 5 episodes and covered 3 days.
Something like that, yeah.
But you could also, personal experience also kind of counts in certain situations. So could you, if you wanted to bump up like your interaction with the nanobots, practicing with that could be a good way to
Ooh.
And you've used them as well, right? Like we've seen you use them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing you could do is if you wanted to say this is something that I always knew, is just call the character development scene and show us a flashback about how come.
Oh yes.
You know,
don't do that nearly enough. That is fun.
I'm sure I could, I'll have to look and see because I did save some XP from my creation because I wasn't entirely sure what all I wanted to take. So I might think about some of that too.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like there's some character development scenes in your future.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is good actually, because especially Ulla, her history, her childhood is really a big question mark in a lot of places. Like we know less about her background than we do about the other 3.
Yes.
And so it makes it easier too than just to be like, oh yeah, I also know this thing that you guys haven't seen before because new
really
character.
Easy. Yeah. You don't know me.
Yeah.
You met me 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's gonna be great too when like Reggie's in one of those.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You didn't know that I was an expert Scottish dancer? Yeah, well, yes, I am. As a matter of fact.
Remember that time?
I was a river dancer in another life.
So actually, on that subject of
river dancing.
Yes, river dancing in Life Shapers. I still got that little one hanging around that says I always carry food just in case. My pay kindness forward history one. Maybe
I think you still want to pay kindness forward, but it's not about food anymore.
Food out of my. I can produce food out of my pod. Maybe that's how we feed the children because I'm always carrying food.
I'm sorry. No, can't treat that as an ability.
No, I get it.
In fact, I think we should strike that part of it. And instead kind of reinterpret it like just sort of
That's
general
a classic backfire. Sure, I'll delete it. It's gone.
No. Just the food part.
Yeah, it's just the food part. Right.
Because the pay it forward is still, that's a psychological trait
Hell
of yours, and you just have to figure out a different way to express it.
Perfect.
Rescuing children.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yes.
Pretty sure that is positive in that particular column.
Hell.
Is that another XP for Reggie then?
Yep.
Is that how that works? Hold on, wait a minute. Let me look at some other stuff.
Incorporated a life shaper, yeah, right?
That's cool.
You didn't do it in play, though. We're not in play.
I didn't invoke it. No, I didn't think to. I was too busy trying to figure out how to throw in a jab about how we've all done this before.
So I don't know if this matters or not, but I think it's something that we should at least mention so that John can make a decision on it, especially when Max was dead and we hadn't yet revived him. I thought, boy, we might have put a content warning on this episode for death of child. Now he revives, but it's worth thinking about.
Maybe?
You could say child in endangerment or something, because I mean, ultimately he doesn't die.
Yeah, you probably should, because a lot of people get very squick about doing things with kids. So
Yeah.
I mean, we do a lot of really wacky stuff and occasionally obscene stuff, and I've never really felt a need to put a content warning before, but child death might
Cross the line.
yeah, it's probably a good idea.
All right, well, in 12 months when this comes out, we'll have to remember this.
You know what? You could even let them know it's not bad news. You could say content warning, temporary child death.
What the fuck?
All right. At least it'll get them to keep listening.
Yeah, right.
Well, you can also add, I mean, I don't know, child cruelty or child, something that like endangerment. Yeah.
Exploitation.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
If I heard that at the beginning, my mind automatically goes to sexual exploitation, and I don't. Yeah.
So probably endangerment.
You're gonna need a content warning for the content warning if you're gonna say it that way. Yeah.
Well, if
Content warning will be like 10 minutes.
Make it longer than the episode.
You could say child labor, I think, because everybody knows child labor is wrong. So just say child labor, and then
child endangerment.
Yeah.
Temporary child death.
I don't know.
Good one.
Todd, you say everyone knows that it's wrong, but weren't there a few states during the there were a few states during the
Election?
what is it when you bring things from one place to another? I can't remember.
Moving?
Yeah, but like products, when the whole distribution line was all wacko. There were a bunch of people who were like, hey, I think that kids under 16 should be able to drive trucks so that we can have more truckers. So
weird. Yeah.
Stupid.
So I'm not sure all of us agree.
Listen.
No. I mean, that's why I said morally ambiguous, and I understand and agree that Leslie said no, that's not ambiguous at all. But what I'm saying is it is ambiguous because there are people who stand on the other side of that line. I know that they exist, and this NPC is one of them. Now that doesn't make him like quote unquote bad. It just makes his culture so much different than yours that this is probably an issue you will not come to agreement on.
Oh yeah.
Well, we came to an agreement after he was dead.
As a matter of fact, he decided that he's going to be more democratic than EXO was. So that's a step forward.
We achieved a quorum.
I decide I don't want to get murdered.
There were some arguments made, valid arguments.
No, because Nash read the guy. He did the intuition roll. I think he was being sincere. He was not doing that under duress.
And I think, like, you know, off screen, right? Like, we had that conversation. Like, he would be like, I think we might not like it, but I think this guy's on the level, kind of thing, right? Like, he's not gonna, he's at least not going to be as bad, sort of thing, right? Like, it's still not great, but
The lesser evil.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Sometimes
He definitely seems like a lesser evil. Yeah.
it's a small improvement, and sometimes you just gotta take baby steps.
Right?
Baby in a jar steps.
I can't take any steps.
With a little following trail of 8 other babies behind.
Swimming steps.
I can take
There you
astral steps.
Oh. All right, I really have to go to bed.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome,
Go to bed.
guys.
Yep.
Leslie.
Thank you.
Go home. Go home.
Good night.
Wow.
It was good. I feel like
I think it was good. It is so weird.
right, like, because you don't want to be like, because we've killed people, but we don't murder hobo, right? So, like, it's never, well, Trae has, but it's never like the first.
I never just murdered innocent people before.
Jerkface.
He was not innocent. He was a criminal.
It was abrupt, though. It was abrupt. He
He
was.
was abrupt, yes.
He was. I don't know, but it was an abrupt. It was an abrupt action. But yeah, I mean,
You threw not Cordoba out the van.
that was abrupt.
Yeah,
It was
but
abrupt.
as marshmallow clouds were burning and falling through from the sky.
You
Like-
we
killed
were also
Bounty.
pretty convinced that we
know
weren't
anything
actually
about.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
He might not. Probably wasn't even the Cordoba.
He was gonna
This isn't
die.
our
That
Cordoba.
road was collapsing. He was gonna die in like a few minutes anyway.
The bounty hunter.
It was a bounty hunter.
That's good. Every lull is like, then there was this guy. Then there was this
It's the
guy.
guy. It's the guy whose name is stenciled on the back of your backpack.
Right.
Oh,
Uh,
good times.
Yeah, I know.
Good times.
I mean, ultimately, I feel like we were gonna get there. It just took us a while to like, and then like once we had the radio, right? Like then it was.
Yeah, that changed.
Oh no,
everything.
they murdered like whole like family units. Like
Right.
That. Yeah. Yeah, that radio was huge.
Yeah, well,
ultimately, yeah.
before any civil war, there's a long period of bifurcation and unrest, and so you've got the society is breaking into 2 groups, and those groups become more and more extreme in their views. And then what the Civil War is one of those groups is going to live and the other's not. So before they were killed, they were already, the opposition party.
Mhm. Yeah. I get it, but that's not like, yeah, you
It's
don't
just a terrible
murder
thing
parents
that
and then-
happens in that situation. It's like
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the point I'm really trying to make is that it didn't erupt all at once. Suddenly, everybody's
Yeah.
shooting and there's a war.
right.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It was really something that probably took, maybe a year. It was highly intensely heated political debates, and then people shouting at each other and separating their camp from the other camp, and then insults and people maybe going on strike or refusing to help other people. And it finally got to the point where you're either with us or against us, and both sides felt this just as strongly. And then one side decided, all right, we're just going to take the other side out one by one, and we'll tell their kids whatever.
Yeah, NKD moves in, starts disappearing people.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I didn't want to give you the impression that it was like an encompassing glorious battle. It wasn't like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, personally, I was just waiting for any moment where one of the foremen laid a hand on a kid.
Mhm.
Because, like, as soon as that was going to happen, I had a character development scene planned out
Ooh.
of, like, the flashback where
We
like,
almost got one.
Yep. Where their like combat trainer like went off on one of Trae's clatchmates and like kicked the crap out of him. And like that was gonna cause him to just like book it out of the room and like beeline right for that group.
Uh-huh.
Oh, cool.
Instead, we got a kid that almost died. So it weighed out.
Yeah.
We've achieved balance.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
The dice were in control of the narrative tonight, like completely. Yep. Like even the fact that one kid fell in, and it might have been Whisper, as a matter of fact. I rolled like all that shit. Like, how's things going down there? Oh my God, I rolled the worst possible thing. Did someone fall in? Yes. Was it Whisper? No. Oh, make up another kid. But that was all dice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have gone lots different ways.
I think it would have been worse if it was Whisper. We may have murdered everybody.
It probably would have
Oh
been
yeah,
worse.
that town would have been good.
You know what's interesting though? This just neither here nor there, but I kind of feel like if it had been Whisper who fell in and was pulled out dead, you would have attempted to resuscitate immediately because it's a character you knew.
Yeah. Well, again, that's why I asked. I said, this kid is clearly dead. And you said yes. And I was like, well, I guess I won't do medic then because it took us 10 minutes to get there. Like, plus he fell in. Reggie was. I mean, I guess you were talking.
Yeah, and I'm also wondering, do they have any medicine down here? And decided not really. They have some first aid kits, but they don't have a med bay. They don't have any like medical high tech. So that was and my brain is like, you guys are still moving and still talking and still planning, and I'm going through. Okay, well, do they have a doctor down here? No, they don't. I rolled that. Wow, because the thing is, I know in this world right now, I believe the record is 16 minutes. They brought someone back who's brain dead for 16 minutes. So it is possible. And of course, in that world, the medicine's even better, but you don't have access to it. So, geez, what could you do? What could you do? What could you do? Well, there's Reggie. And as a matter of fact, maybe even Ulla's nanobots could have.
Right, they could have gotten in there. And reverse exploded.
And then Nash's medic roll. Luckily, one of you had a roll that said the word medic or medicine in it.
Yeah.
That gave me something I could easily hinge all of this on. And if you didn't, it would have been the same thing, basically, but it would have been really Reggie doing it and Nash helping.
Right.
You go, well, I'm not really useful here. I'll try to help. Grace roll.
Well, and I feel like Reggie probably did the heavy lifting, right? Like Nash did the mechanical, like, okay, the heart is moving, the blood is pumping, maybe the water is being forced out from the chest compressions, but Reggie really grabbed the kid's spirit or whatever and reignited the spark kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like
I was sort of literally looking at it we had chest compressions going. You were doing like the breast chest compressions, and all I was doing was just like running the blood around, like helping it around, just giving it that little extra boost. Little Reggie running around inside Mac's veins.
Yeah,
I'm your blood.
I don't, I'm not a doctor and I don't know how this technically works, but in terms of the fiction, I looked at it as Nash is handling all the physical stuff. But of course, if you're dead, you can massage a corpse's heart. It's not going to do anything. So what's missing is, well, I have to get metaphorical here. It's the spark. Because the brain has not yet deteriorated. It's only been 10 minutes. We're not losing cells right now, right? The brain is still there. And my metaphor is like jump starting a car. You got to get the juice in there. And then the system's still healthy. It's still there. It just doesn't have any power. You put in some power. And meanwhile, Nash is taking care of the heart.
Yeah, I imagine there'll be some conversations where, Max, I've been inside you. I was your blood. And then, more or less like, Reggie, you can't say that to him.
In spite of that, the child still came with us.
Yeah, don't talk about being inside children. We'd have to put another content warning.
There'd be content warnings. Yeah. Jesus.
Not as blood though, right? You were like the spark of life. That you were it's something.
Yeah, no.
Something in the brain.
Yes.
You were the electrical. Like
I get a kick out of the image. That's why I keep saying it. But I get it. Yeah, it was. I jump started his brain. His brain nuggets.
Reggie's in there pulling the cord. No, you gotta throw the fucking clutch. You gotta throw the clutch. Whatever the fuck that middle setting is.
Burn it out the clutch.
No, you gotta pump that little bubble. You gotta pump the bubble. You can only pull 4 times, and you gotta switch it.
The fucking bubble. Oh my god, I remember those.
So I am
still exist, huh?
I am looking forward to, and it's going to happen, like maybe as soon as next episode. I'm looking forward to Leslie being as comfortable with just fucking saying some crazy thing as like John is with Reggie. Like, you just know I got you. Yeah, you can try to do that. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I think after tonight, probably, right?
Yeah. Tonight she actually got a taste of what she can do.
That was very good. Terrifying.
Right? Kind of almost want to kill her and take the nanobots.
What? No, bad trick.
Perfect in a very Jesse way. I want the power. It's super cool.
Trae makes mental note. There's a little
check. I already know I have a parameter not to kill, specifically not to kill Ulla. Nice. So
twice.
There's 2 instances of that parameter.
Yeah.
Well, if you work very hard, young man, you eat all your vegetables and earn all your experience points, maybe you can have some nanobots.
Woohoo! Maybe when we break into Wolfram, we can see what they got laying around.
Well, that's where all the best shit is. Yeah.
Right, exactly. You go to with them nanobots laying around.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I mean, it's not like this has to go somewhere, right? But like the first 3 seasons, especially season 1 and season 3, you got away from Somnambula for a while, but they kind of orbited around Somnambula. And so far, it feels like this season orbits around Wolfram. We're far from it right now, but it keeps popping up. And I feel like, eventually we're going there. We are.
Well, I mean, so
like we have
with
to, right?
with Wolfram. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just it feels like we have to, right? Like this is part of Ulla's story, and to free Ulla from what's happening with her, right? Mm-hmm. Like she's helping us, so we obviously are going to help her. And we're not
Not only that, but now we know they have a connection. At the very least, they know how to open up portals,
manipulate,
and it's a pretty easy jump to then say, okay, well, they're part of what's happening. I think we've already had this discussion about them potentially having the effect on what's going on.
Yep.
So,
and that the creatures that were coming through could have been people that they were, in our estimation, sending on day trips, but they were coming back all fucked up because they don't know what they're doing.
Right. Exactly, yeah.
So they look like these demon creatures or whatever.
Just failing psyche rolls, just left and right.
Right.
Fuck, that didn't work. Go grab another guy. We got a couple of them. They're waiting.
Yeah.
Grab another kid from the hole.
Right. It sounds very similar.
Thing. Yeah.
Yep.
It's true, man. Wherever humans have a civilization, you find somebody is exploiting somebody else who has no fucking say in the matter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Humans.
Well, we killed a couple of those people.
I forgot they what's his name? Who is the douchebag that Nash killed?
God, gonna be
the one that you just killed, the previous leader of
Exo.
Tunnel Town.
Exo.
Exo. Yeah. Oh. So when Exo was like, Right. When Exo was like, each according to their ability. It was like very first thing I thought of was like he's forgetting about the each according to their need afterwards.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're leaving out that pretty important part of that sentence. Like,
But in his view, the kid's need is simply, food and shelter and a place to sleep. And he's not regarding is like half of Maslow's pyramid, the part about security and safety and psychology.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. That was the thing.
He doesn't have to worry about it anymore.
Nope.
Right.
All right, you guys. I'm gonna go eat enchiladas.
All right.
Nice.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you for that awesome
Thanks, Todd.
game. See you next time.
Have a good night.
Take it easy. All right. And there were 3.
Good stuff. I didn't think it was. I thought it was pretty cut and dry.
Yeah. I mean, I knew from the jump that we were gonna murder them, but like Nash's first instinct wouldn't be we're gonna go murder these people.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. You want to see?
Right. You needed a reason.
Yeah.
And
It was all about the radio. The radio put things into a nice, sharp perspective, and that was it.
Yeah. And then he came in all fucking stupid.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Which is
probably he thought he was untouchable.
Right.
Well, and it's kind of funny for me then, right? So like the whole first half's like, no, like this sucks, but like we've got to get out of here. We have like bigger fish to fry, and like this is horrible, but like whatever. And then the guy comes in the room, he's like, oh motherfucker. Look.
Right. Yeah, like he's slapping you. Like, what are you doing? That was a great moment.
Don't touch him. That's a bad move.
Just wakes up and just cold cocks him. He's just out. It's probably dead. I mean, who revived him? We didn't revive him.
Yeah, he probably choked on his own blood.
Yeah, that's terrible to stay unconscious for so long.
Funny.
That's good. I wheel around and I punch him. This guy's he's down. He's dead.
Right.
You're fucking slapping some guy you don't even know.
Right, yeah.
Especially when specifically like, hey, I don't know if we should trust these guys. We should set a watch. And now all of a sudden I'm roughly being shaken awake by somebody I don't know.
Right. I just missed him. Sorry, I missed. I don't know where he came from. he eluded my watch skills.
Well, to be fair, it's not like Reggie can do anything.
No, and I wasn't watching. I was just trying to communicate with his brother.
Right. We were the 2 worst people to have on watch.
Not that it would have mattered, right? I mean, I'm sure the guy came flying into the room like in a second, right? Like even if you had heard him yelling, like what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's not like your first would be like, oh fuck, let me wake everybody up. Like, what the fuck is this guy screaming about?
Stop screaming and stop hitting us.
Although, note to Trae, don't slap Nash awake.
That right cross comes quick.
Yep. Wake Nash up with pole.
Or a gentle kiss on the cheek.
Just stroke his head.
Stroke his head.
Nash, wake up.
Whisper sweet nothings into his ears.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Right.
All right. Should we wrap this thing up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Good stuff.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
No, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, the audience.
That's fair, too.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody, for checking it out.
Yep.
Again.
To be fair, even without the audience, we'd still be doing this. But
absolutely.
Thanks anyway.
Yeah. And on that note...
Yeah.
Fuck you and good night.
Nice. All right.